guess. I don't know what do you want me to say to that.
Dude, that's like a thing like you would find after the game releases, and you're like, that's kind of a funny quirk.
Yeah, but to highlight it, to be like, if you see his cock, he will punch you.
I love the way Robert says that shit. It's like,
It's just come on,
it's
man.
like everyone look at his dick real quick. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Whack. Like, oh, all right. That's a
And again,
little
that's
concerning.
something that I would laugh at. But yeah, if I look at it, I find it. If they already have cool footage out, but there's nothing here that's like. It just looks like a meme. This whole thing sounds like a meme, and they're selling it as like a serious product that Kojima's selling, and it's just like I don't get it.
It's literally going to be sold off of its name. That's literally what it is.
He's the only developer that I know that puts a Hideo Kojima game. I think it's so weird.
Well, realistically, he wants to make movies, but from what I heard, the reason why he never just makes movies is because apparently he has more freedom in the game industry than he does in the movie industry, which I can understand.
Movie, you got to make a point. You got to make a story come to a conclusion in 2 hours.
Exactly.
2.5.
He doesn't want to do that. He wants to put a shit ton of filler. Apparently,
Yeah, I started the podcast. By the way, just like I said, it takes a few minutes for people to really start populating.
No, it's fine. We're just bullshitting.
So anyway. I just got some. Oh yeah, he fell. Now he's going down the river.
Oh, here we go. This is the dumbest shit.
It's so odd. It would be cool if also the world looks cool. Texture wise, it looks impressive as
hell. It looks realistic as hell.
But it really does look like a tech demo like that in the beginning of the PS4. You know what I mean? Like you would think it would be like a tech demo kind of game.
That's the one thing.
Because it's like look what they can do.
See, that's where I'm kind of different because that's the world is the only thing that intrigues me at all because it reminds me of the one Bright Side of Prometheus was like.
Okay, yeah.
Showing like the world before people were there, and it kind of had the same look. Almost looks like the same continent.
He made it through.
Sure, but I feel like Prometheus was shown a lot better.
But if it's boring game, boring traversal, then who cares? But I am intrigued by just the post-apocalyptic setting and how.
I think it's one of those games. I think it'll have a cool story, but like I would just watch it on YouTube. I wouldn't buy it. That's the problem with it.
I think the story's gonna be convoluted as hell.
Oh no, it will be. But I'm saying like I can at least get it. I could get a
best meaning. But if it was a movie, everyone would trash on it. That's what I
think. So, as a game experience, it's kind of okay.
As a game experience, as a $60 movie, apparently that people don't mind paying for. I think it's just so odd. I don't know.
I don't know. This traversal doesn't look fun. The concept of delivering packages doesn't
can you
look
see
fun.
the dude bros like defending this game?
I mean, I've seen them defend it, and they're just like, they got Jeff Keighley in the game. 10 out of 10.
Oh, I saw a post and clocked it. You'll love this. You might have seen it. Somebody made it like all Nintendo fans were like,
yeah.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Someone's like, all you Nintendo fans saying shit about Death Stranding's world is barren or whatever. Didn't you guys play Breath of the Wild or something like that?
Bitch.
And I'm just like,
how dare you?
I saw that tweet. I had to just bite my tongue, grit my teeth. I was just.
And people were like, of course, people that found that person that would say that were. Probably agreed with him. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm looking forward to Death Stranding, and I thought Zelda was boring or something, like that. Everybody's got their own opinion, but it's just factually false that Zelda is more empty than this.
My argument is like, okay, fine. If you find Zelda boring, that's fine. But you can't tell me this looks more intriguing. Like world design looks more intriguing than Zelda. Like that's factually that's a false statement.
If this was Zelda, you would have encountered wildlife, enemies, Yiga Clan.
Yeah, there's like nothing here
in this 10 minutes.
Death Stranding.
I got it playing on screen for people to see what as we're talking, but like it's 10 minutes in and they haven't encountered a single thing except gaps to put your magic ladder over.
Apocalyptic juice. There's nothing around anymore.
But fucking, at least Shadow of the Colossus had fucking little squirrel skunk things to shoot to give you something to help with boost your health and stuff. Like gave you something to do. But you know, they did show sequences of riding a motorcycle, evading other people in the trailer. But in this gameplay, just from what the point was trying to make is how there's nothing to do, just like in Zelda. And I'm just like, there's so many things you encounter playing
I've heard
Zelda.
so many Zelda comparisons to try to make this garbage ass game look better. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
At least you can climb, not like walls, but you can pretty much go anywhere.
You can.
Well, yeah, I think this game is for good people that like hiking.
This game is for Kojima guzzlers.
It annoys me to have an open world game that's this slow pace, yo.
It's so odd.
Like the game drags. It looks like it just drags just from traversal.
It literally drags. You're dragging that big ass package.
I'm just like, don't waste my okay, cool. If you're gonna give me a big world, let it be fun to explore the world. Zelda gave me a paraglider and later gave me a fucking motorcycle.
And that's
what do I have here? A goddamn ladder to get across caverns.
All right, I jumped ahead 10 minutes.
Got Jeff Keighley.
I think the difference between, like I see the one thing is like, so maybe the world is supposed to be barren, but I think the whole thing is that I'm trying, if you think about it in a movie sort of thing where movies, you have nice shots that make the world look nice, but you're just walking around aimlessly in this game that isn't a movie. And I think it doesn't make it look nice or anything. It just, texture wise it looks nice, but you could, if it was a film, you'd probably make some cool shots of a guy walking and stuff, and it'd be condensed, 2-hour movie. But this is a video game, and there's no like gamey aspect to it, and it's just generally a hiking simulator that you could probably find on Steam. Someone would make for like $20.
Here's some sneaking through the grass, though. I jumped ahead.
But Kojima made this, okay? It's different.
They tried there is boss fights.
He does run a lot like Snake does in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Hey, dude, that was the one thing I noticed. It's literally like taking elements from the other Metal Gear games and throwing it into a new IP.
Like there's a
but I'm like, the other Metal Gear games were not this slow pace or this it doesn't. The other Metal Gear games didn't drag to this extent.
In Metal Gear Solid,
Kojima doing the what do you call it? The motion capture. Is that why all his characters run alike? Because he's the one in the suit.
Could be.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it is.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Maybe the same person, kind of like Andy Serkis. Maybe he just has the same.
You look at it. It's like, okay, here, look. It's all I can sneak up on an enemy and take him out.
See, this section might actually be fun to play, but
that could be decent.
Yeah, but this doesn't even an open world game for it.
But in Metal Gear Solid 5, that stuff was fun at first, but then you realize you're just gonna do the same missions in the same environments over and over and over. Collected, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here.
All right.
It's like, oh shit!
I just want to make sure your mic was working.
No, I am here, John. Like I said, I haven't actually watched this, so while you were talking, I was actually just watching it.
Yeah, I think he's just watching the footage.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck this.
He doesn't like us disrespecting Kojima.
Now he's running.
Well, you see, you compared it to Metal Gear Solid 5. I actually think Metal Gear Solid 5, when it gets going, is one of the best third-person action games in terms of shooting and controls and combat that we've had recently. I think it's phenomenal when it gets going. But this is just he sneaked up behind someone just then, choked him in about fucking half a second, put their body on the floor, then carried on going. I'm just like, what the fuck? What's everyone get excited about with this?
How can you sneak around when you have a refrigerator on your back? I don't understand how that works.
Now he's got some kind of taser
shooting
thing.
People, wrapping up their legs.
Now he's throwing.
This is such a weird juxtaposition. Like the traversal's slow as shit, and then you get into these weird dogfights.
Look, all of a sudden he's running superhuman next to a car, though.
Yeah, I don't understand. See, what is this
How
shit?
did he get so fast?
He just hit him with a package?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually funny.
This is like the weirdest string of
Now he's
shit.
in a vehicle.
I'm so confused.
This man
He's just he's got this massive backpack on. He's able to run faster than the truck, stomp people out.
Now the truck's slower than he was just running.
Who walks so slow in the world?
Yeah, this is just.
It's gonna be a game that gets 10 out of 10, and you can't figure out why the fuck you would do it. Why the fuck would you give this game a 10 out of 10? But they'll
I
get
actually don't think this game is gonna get like if we're talking Metacritic, if we want to predict it, I think it actually would get pretty high though. Regardless, I don't.
it's
think
gonna get high. I know it's
I don't
gonna
think
get
it'll be
high.
the 90.
So that just proves how bullshit Metacritic is.
See, look at this shit. He's running like a
I don't pay
motherfucker.
attention to that kind of stuff, but
Why is
But
he
some
able to
people
run
do.
this
That's the
fast
problem.
now?
The problem is some people pay attention to that.
no, a lot of people will try to use that as points towards games.
Some people won't even
It's
touch a game that's under like an 8.5.
which is fucking weird because it's so weird because in all reality, people don't like most. It's not like it's 20 points away. Most people use a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, so sorry, excuse me. He just like this whole game. He's shown him use a fucking ladder right to climb over gaps, and now he just leaped like fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Spider-Man
understand what
over
the
this
fuck
canyon.
changed.
He jumped the bag with a college mini fridge on his back.
You know
Is
what I
this
mean?
him? Is this him after you upgrade him or something?
Does he have powers?
Yeah, they must do also, and he got like tap into like the spirit zone or some shit.
Yeah, because I'm so confused. Why can he run this fast all of a
Let me
sudden?
jump ahead.
The
Oh,
baby
this
gives him
environment's
power.
cool. I
You
never
gotta
seen
upgrade
this.
your baby. You gotta upgrade your fetus.
Is it something about the old world trying to connect the old world and bring them
Yeah,
back
so
to?
I remember them mentioning now, like, you know,
This part
he's
looks
talked
pretty
about strands and stuff. I think he's almost trying to do like if you ever played like Journey, where you know, players you can interact with other players, not necessarily speak to them, but I think you can call on the help of players. They'll give you weapons and stuff like that, and I think he's tried to make like some online connectivity game with some Hollywood like some Hollywood like story, you know, until you slap all these cutscenes together. You know, that's when it actually becomes a story. But all that in between, you know, it's just.
Oh
it's
yeah, I
just
think this is
stuff.
the boss fight they're showing right now. You're at.
At least it's not a barren environment. There's actually a old
Well, I didn't think. I mean,
city.
visually the shit looks good. It's just, I don't know, man. Like,
It'll be interesting, man. It might be one of those games. Like I think I said this last week or recently. Like playing it might be different than watching it, but I don't know.
Like to be fair, like I could, maybe I'll play it and I'll be like, whoa, this is pretty fun. I'm entertaining myself, you know. But like, I don't know, watching it it looks so odd to be like,
Yeah, this
holy shit, I'm hyped.
quote unquote boss fight is just like walking away from the thing.
yeah, I don't understand. See, and then he's back to his clunky ass running speed.
Mhm.
Like I don't understand. Like what changed?
It doesn't make sense.
He looks like he's in some kind of fluid, maybe.
That's what kind of pissed me off about Red Dead.
Oh, it's a fluid.
Okay, now he's attacking it.
Trailers.
See, this
He's
is
fighting
like,
the Demogorgon.
Yeah, you see those jumping controls as well. Not even Kojima could jump onto the other side of that truck. It's fucking trash, man.
He's
no, I was like,
fighting
yeah,
the,
don't be.
different avatar. The Leonoptrix.
I don't even know how I feel about this. Just, see, this shit just looks ridiculous. Like,
I don't know. This is the best thing I've seen from the gameplay.
yeah, visually, this is the most gamey.
Still,
I've
he's
seen
still
yet.
just really slow and it's kind of tedious looking. Like
It really
The
stressful.
brand did not make any sense whatsoever.
It's very it reminds me of Mighty Number 9 in the sense that, hey, look, here's a new IP, but it uses gameplay mechanics from like the series you know me from.
What? He just jumped like 30 feet.
Oh wait, we haven't seen it yet because you're ahead
about
because
to.
you're the one watching the footage. What the fuck was that? What was that?
Oh my god.
That didn't make it. See, what's up with this
He
shit?
could barely jump 5 feet. Now he jumped 30.
See,
Yeah,
that's so
pretty random.
It's weird.
inconsistent. I don't
It's
even
weird.
know. Was that? Wow.
He upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's not even an upgrade.
it's gotta be something. He must like drain the baby on his chest to say
It
like,
was
give
in
me
the
the
same-
Rain the baby on his chest.
This is the game we're talking about. He drains the baby.
power of your legs.
This shit,
Alright, we're
yeah,
gonna
come
watch-
on.
We're going to watch 5 minutes of Breath of the Wild and see if
Well,
it's
first
just
you're
as
gonna watch
barren.
commercial.
Color.
Just as embarrassing. Or
Look at that
just, as
color.
barren. Just as empty. Oh, he's
Dude,
already ran
30
into something.
seconds in, he's already doing traversing it on a fucking shield. Come on.
And he already
And
ran
this
into
is empty,
a-
man. Look, oh no,
Jealous.
too empty.
Look, there's a.
This is just
and
a plateau.
big rock boss, 10 seconds in, yo. Come on.
What's that? What do they call it in Galaxy Quest? What do they call the rock monster? Grignot?
Hmm?
I'm.
Grimrock or some shit.
Just, I mean, and some people thought Breath of the Wild's combat and stuff was a little basic and stuff, but it's just seeing it right after watching Death Stranding, just how much more, like,
And this is
engaging
a 2-year-old game. This game didn't even cut. This game is 2 years old.
Oh man. Well, I mean, welcome
Fuck.
to the Death Stranding podcast.
Yeah, we're done talking about Death Stranding.
I don't know, man. I get blown away from this.
Watch this game come out and blow everybody's minds.
Dude, we should guess the Metacritic score.
I already think guess an 82. That's what I'm gonna get 82 actually.
No, I'm gonna put it at a
95.
Is it 95?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude, that'd be impressive.
I'm gonna guess 89.
Right. I'm gonna guess 90.
I'm gonna play the Tokyo Game Show trailer for Final Fantasy VII.
To be fair, the Final Fantasy VII footage still looks like a beautiful ass game.
Yeah.
But now you can play it with the standard combat system.
Yeah, I want to play.
I think Nintendo fans should go review bomb Death Stranding the way they did after Chain.
Yeah.
I wanna play Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I gotta wait till it fully releases.
Here's a question.
Then you won't play it for like 2
What if
years.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is a 70-hour game? Is it now not worth $60 and not worth buying and playing?
That would technically be worth.
No, I think they confirmed each part is gonna at least be like 40 to 60 hours.
I want to see proof of where someone said that. I want to see.
I don't know how they're gonna make a 40, 60-hour game out of Midgar. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
They must completely revamp that shit.
If that's the case, they're gonna let you go anywhere in Midgar, which isn't gonna happen. You know, so
yeah, I don't understand.
I was talking about that in my video, like where people say, you know, that this game is so big, you know, it's gonna need 500 gigawatts of memory in order to complete all this shit. I'm like, have these people even played Final Fantasy VII? There's only so many areas you go to in Midgar. Midgar isn't that open for the player. Now, I've watched so much gameplay of this game, and they have shown like some extra little expanded areas for areas that you still go to. But they're still essentially the same areas. I haven't seen anywhere that's completely new or different outside of what was in the original Final Fantasy VII. So I just don't like even this part now, like where you're climbing a thing just before Sector 6 gets destroyed. That was all cutscenes. You know,
you guys heard about the turn-based mode or whatever?
Yeah.
How the hell is that gonna work?
I don't know.
I think from what I understand, they're just gonna, you know, the active gauge that has to fill up and shit. I think that's just gonna autofill, and you just pick a move.
So you're not actually like standing in place.
I was gonna say.
I mean, I
think they'll probably do that.
I mean, it's not like I don't believe that they can't do it. It's just kind of
I don't
want to pay for a fucking like half-baked product.
Like this, I'll pause it in this spot. This kind of looks like
the shit looks beautiful, but I'm
right
like,
here.
bruh.
This looks like it could be a turn-based thing. Once you guys catch up.
Yeah.
Like they were standing in place. And
you stand in place and
still
then
have
you
all
hit
the
the button
effects
to
going
attack.
on and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's a gorgeous fucking game. But the whole
I just
thing
don't like the fact that Square's on this bullshit where it's like, oh, we're gonna release you 5% of the game and then be like, we're gonna do that for the next like.
This
10
is more
years.
than 5% of the game.
And what I don't get is
Midgar is not that much.
Midgar
is not much of the main game.
But this is my problem.
Clocked said that there isn't that many big areas after in his video. I don't know. I didn't play it.
So Midgard itself, in terms of like the city is huge, but this is why I was saying you only get to go into little chunks of it. So the size of the city itself on the world map is the biggest city, but you only go in little chunks. And then when you leave Midgar, the second biggest area I've always said is the Gold Saucer, because the Gold Saucer is like a giant theme park. It's got a little bit below where you get on the tram, you go up there. And when you get to the Gold Saucer, there's loads of different rooms, loads of different games you can go on, roller coasters, you know, the snowboarding mini games and all this stuff. And then after that, I would say it was Junon, which is like a military base for Shinra again. It's got like a giant gun on there. But even then, you got like this little village just below it. And then when you go up to Junon, once again, you know, it's just there's still just restricted areas.
That's my thing. It's like, if you're gonna split this game within those sections, I don't want to spend an entire game in one area. Like
that's what I was thinking.
That's not Final Fantasy.
For an RPG, that's like a sin. You don't do that in RPG.
It's a huge sin.
Yeah, you don't do that shit in RPGs where you got me in one area.
I don't give a damn how good it looked. I don't want to be there the whole damn game.
Yeah. That's like town, yo.
Yeah, but like even now, when he's talking to like Rude and stuff, you see Rude and Cloud and stuff. That wasn't in game. That was cutscenes. That was CGI cutscenes, and then they seem to be able to that's CGI cutscenes
That's
there
what they
with
sold the first Final Fantasy
stuff.
7 on was CGI.
Yeah.
Don Canario
Is
there.
that these two girls
CGI.
fighting over Cloud here?
Yeah, but we can't
that's
talk
in
about
game.
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
There's some spoilers involving that, so we can't talk about
Can
it.
you have them both?
That's spoilish.
I'm not. I can't even
Is
answer
this like
that
The
question,
Witcher
Robert.
3?
Nope.
To be fair,
Nope.
I know the
Nope.
ending, yo. I know the ending. Who does? I mean, to me, it's like who does?
Yeah, okay, but it just shut
No,
up.
I
Don't
won't
mention
say.
it.
Does this
Shut
have
your
a
face.
Witcher 3 like element when it comes to the women?
No.
No,
Nah,
not
man.
at all.
Let's just move on.
No.
Let's get out of there. Let's get out.
I honestly think that, you know what I think it is? I think Final Fantasy has gotten too big for its own good. With all that bullshit that happened with 13 and them releasing what 2 or 3 versions of that. I think it was 13 and 13.2. Then it was Lightning Returns and shit. Then 15 came out. Then they came out with 15 that King's Edition and shit. Like, realistically, I think Square has gotten a little bit too cocky with Final Fantasy in general, where they think they can just kind of get away with murder. And then people are complaining about the ports of 8, like the 8 port they came out with, because they only fixed like some of the models, so like the game looks weird as shit. Where like some models are updated and some aren't. Like,
They be happy you got the shit.
but see, that's my issue. I shouldn't have to put out a quality product from jump, you fucking asshole. Like, that's my issue.
It probably was hard as hell for them to get that shit out.
Man, we had.
Man, but you know the only reason they're doing this is because it's Final Fantasy 7. If they did it with any other Final Fantasy, they do it full game, and then people will be like, "Oh, nice." But because it's 7, people are like, "Oh my god!"
I remember. I remember when 13 was being advertised. 13 was the next Final Fantasy. It was huge. They bigger than loads. It looked absolutely crazy, stunning. FF13 when they first showed it, I was like, "Holy shit! The PlayStation 3 is going to be amazing." And the game finally released after X amount of years. I played it, and then everyone's saying, like, after the first, you need to play for the first 25 hours before you get to the open world.
Like,
and you're sitting there like, bitch, how dare you?
And it's true. You play for the first 25 hours, right? All these little areas and stuff, like Final Fantasy 7 is showing you right now. All these areas, you get there, the world opens up, and you can run around this massive open world. Right? So if they can do it for Final Fantasy 13, right, on the old-ass PS3, right, they can do it for Final Fantasy 7 on the PS4 and have plenty of room left over to squeeze in some extras. I don't give a shit what anyone says, man. I'm so against people just saying this cannot be done on a single release. I'm so against people saying that. I don't know why they say it.
yeah, it's bullshit. That's why.
I don't know why they say it.
It's a terrible fucking cop out.
Well, I could say the
so.
argument would be it wouldn't be out for 3 years from now if they put it all in one.
Fine.
Okay, but how do you
I'm
want
just
to
saying.
wait 15?
When did they show this game? When did they
It
show
was like
this game?
2014 or 2013. I forget which.
14
Crazy shit.
or 15
That's-
maybe.
that's
Might have been
a shame.
15.
I think when people can't say like, "Oh, they can't do it in one game," I think it's like a spit to like fucking Cyberpunk and Grand Theft Auto and all these huge Breath of the Wild, all these huge games.
Exactly. Thank
Well,
you.
look, I'll say this. As much as I'm disappointed by the game, Kingdom Hearts 3 visually is fucking gorgeous and has like these huge ass worlds. And that game took 6 years? Took 6 years.
What's
but at
going on
least-
with Square?
And there's another Square fucking project.
What
they
is
won't get
going
their
on with Square?
For some reason, they're big budget titles. They cannot get their shit together for nothing. We can get an Octopath here and there, and maybe like a Bravely Default, but like the big shit can't do nothing.
Didn't they publish Ononaki? Was that Square?
Yeah.
That one kind of fell under. Down. It kind of got
They-
overshadowed.
They have they have better budget titles than they do AAA titles. I just get sick of this shit.
That's. I mean that.
Where's my physical copy? That's
One
what
thing-
that's what your problem is.
We're talking about Death Stranding with Metacritic. Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's guaranteed like 97. I
Oh
think.
yeah, that's gonna be super fucking high, yo.
Well, because
All
people
these-
be
All
blown
these
away just from the
scrubs that They played the
visuals.
original and never played that shit. Oh yeah, I love Final Fantasy 7 because everybody else said so.
Yeah, and that's the thing that bugs me as well. Is that this is such a remake, such a reimagining. No one's gonna be. This isn't the same Final Fantasy 7, no matter what.
See, and
Even
I
if
don't-
it's the same characters, the same world, it's not the same Final Fantasy 7. So people will be playing a different game.
Yeah, and you could kind of make that argument about Resident Evil 2, but for me, it's all for the better for that game. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
go.
but see, the thing is, you paid $60 and got the full game. That
Yeah.
was the other thing.
But you could go back and play
20 and
Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1 and if it has nostalgia for you and love it and not like the new one. But for me, like if they would have just, which I mean, I wouldn't have hated it if they just did like the GameCube level remake where they made brand new, what do they call the background? Pre-rendered backgrounds, and yet still controlled the same. That wouldn't have been terrible. I'm sure a lot of people would have liked it. It would have looked amazing, but I absolutely loved what they did when they actually reimagined it, remixed it, and brought it into... It still feels Resident Evil, but they brought it into like a modern looking game, but then it feels like Resident Evil 4. So everything they did for me for that game was all for the better, but it definitely doesn't play like a Resident Evil 2 original game. But
Nah.
So, but then it's also not Resident Evil 5 and 6 where they went too far away from what makes Resident Evil, a good experience or a Resident Evil type experience that people loved.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect, at least with Resident Evil 2, I can respect like that when that game came out and in the fan base, whether you like Resident Evil 2 originally or this was your first time playing, people on both sides were satisfied. Whereas with Final Fantasy 7, I feel like that this game, half of its good publicity is literally just due to the fact that it's Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll be interesting when it's out and people played it and then like if it's gonna have to end, the game's gonna end at a point where like you're gonna be like, oh wait, I gotta wait for the next fucking game. How long is that gonna be? That's gonna be the...
And Square already cannot be trusted with getting these games out in a timely
yeah.
Because I mean, like Clocked pointed out in his video, it's going to be the next generation when the next version comes out, the next part of the game. So then you're crossing generations.
So at the very least, they're going to make you rebuy this game on the next console.
Oh yeah, they'll resell that bitch again.
But they already confirmed the PS5 would be backwards compatible, so you could play.
That don't matter. That's just they're going to slap PS5.
They'll resell it. They're going to have whatever they part 2, and they're going to have a bundle that has part 1 and part 2 for $120. For those that didn't get the first part, and then when part 3 comes out, they're going to sell part 1, 2, and 3 for $180. Collector's edition for $300.
Yeah. Now get part 1, 2, and 3 in $10K.
We'll be on PS6 by then.
Dick.
And that I was gonna say that's what, dude. The game is such false advertising. How many people do you think are actually
know that
it's episodic? I guarantee you, a lot of people.
Because it should say part 1. It should literally say part 1.
It's not open. It's not
right
transparent
now.
about it.
The everyday person is not gonna know that, and so that's why there's gonna be people that actually will beat the game or whatever and be like, "Wow, yo, what a great game!" and they're not gonna know there's other parts because they never played the original.
Yeah, I know a guy that fits into that.
It's like, I think it's super false advertising. It's like it's a little scummy to me. Where it's just like, it's a little weird, dude.
Yeah, now that you said that, they should definitely say part 1 in the title.
Yeah,
it has to be.
I think it's such bullshit.
You're not doing that. You're lying. We should file a class action on their ass.
Yeah, yo.
I can't remember getting into something similar, which I thought was ridiculous, was splitting the Hobbit movies into 3 movies. Did the first Hobbit have a subtitle?
Yeah. It was,
no, it's just called The Hobbit.
I gotta go look. I got it right here. Hold on.
I think it was called
Unexpected Journey. Was it?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So they did subtitle that one. Okay.
Do something.
Do something like that for.
That was the Desolation and Smog, and then the Battle of the Five Armies. I know this shit.
You could have put Final Fantasy VII Remake Midgar, or really, you could have just done that.
Midgar edition.
No, it should be Final Fantasy VII Remake, the tutorial.
Tutorial.
The beginning.
That is the tutorial.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Mastered Bastard.
All right, so this week's trivia question I got on the screen here. We'll get into that, then we'll get to some questions, and some of these questions might spark other discussions, so I want to get to the questions sooner. But all right, which of these N64 games did not release in 1997, and that's in the U.S.? GoldenEye, 1080 Snowboarding, Star Fox 64, and Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I'm hoping people answered without looking it up first. So, Robert, since you're the youngest, what do you think the answer is?
So I definitely didn't actually know this answer. So I personally voted for Turok.
All right, Terrell, what did you think?
I was leaning towards 1080 snowboarding personally.
All right, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know, Clock, that you might not be as familiar with U.S. release dates.
Yeah, that's I have to admit.
That's right.
I did dabble with 2 games.
This
Yeah,
is an international friendly, god damn it.
So GoldenEye and Star Fox, I know for sure must have been day one. 1080 released in '98 over here. Turok, I believe, Turok was a day one over here as well. So I went for 1080 based off just 1080's release date over here.
So Turok was available in the UK when the 64 launched, you're saying, or?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because when was Turok? It was late.
Yeah, they had more games in the launch day.
That's true. Because Turok came out in like spring '97. So
shit,
I can't believe it.
It's not
So the voting came in GoldenEye 26%. Shame
You didn't
on.
ask me.
I know you know, so I'm waiting. GoldenEye, 26% of the people said GoldenEye, which to me is surprising. That's surprising.
That's surprising.
I did.
Well, not really, because
it was delayed. And I actually thought it was delayed later
Yeah.
than it was. Turok, another 26%. Star Fox, only 17%. And then 1080 snowboarding got 31%. That was on Twitter. Let me check the YouTube poll, see what people said. Actually, I don't know how to find my own poll on here. It was the first one I did.
Community.
Did you go on community? Did you put on community? It has to be on your channel.
I mean, look, I just wanted to get it off the screen in case. All right. So YouTube's even smarter. They had Star Fox at 7, GoldenEye 21%, Turok 29%, and 1080 snowboarding 43%.
I guess that means that's
and the answer would be work your body, work your body. 1080 snowboarding. I thought for sure that was a 97, but it was 1998. I forget that.
Yeah, it's a bit later because we had like
I actually bought that game, and I think I gave it to my nephew years ago, and I don't know where it is anymore.
Such an incredible game at the time. So good. Clothes flapping in the wind, snowball leaving trails. You have to angle your board on the right
Wow, that
slopes
came out in early 1998 February, so that was almost
crazy soundtrack.
Wintertime. Well,
they probably even delayed. It probably was done, and they just said, "Well, we got too many games in '97. Let's put something in '98," which they do now with stuff.
And didn't Miyamoto produce that game as well?
Miyamoto, yeah.
That's
why I was interested. I was like, "What? Miyamoto's making a snowboarding game? What the hell?"
It was one of those games where, like I was talking about my gaming history and stuff. Like with the N64, I had a job, so I mean, I bought games, and it wasn't like, oh my god, I got to wait 6 months before I can buy another, like the Super NES era was for me.
Yeah.
But 1080 to me would have been like a really great rental. Once I went through it a few times, I was really, I just kind of was ready for the next game. I didn't feel it had a whole lot of replay value for me, but it was so impressive. The first, couple weeks or whatever I had, I just couldn't believe how the animations were, and it left the snow trail, and but it never like kept my interest for super long because we had.
And I went more for realism as well back then as well. Didn't than a sequel. The sequel went more cartoony.
I never played the sequel, so I don't know.
I enjoyed Avalanche. It wasn't as good. A bit like Wave Race, Blue Storm. It wasn't as good as the originals. These were both the originals were like Nintendo EAD, weren't they, and stuff. But yeah, but it was still a cool game. Awesome soundtrack as well in Avalanche. So, good stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely like a graphical showcase type of.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, here's the music.
People I love the showcase. What the hell are you talking about?
I love it, but the backgrounds still look awesome. You look like in the distance.
That background.
I remember the snow, and I was really impressed back then.
I love the character select as well. You just go on the log cabin and stuff.
And the boards.
Shit,
make it interesting.
Yeah.
I'll watch a little bit of this on
Dion Blast.
Rob Haywood.
Yeah, like
he chose him as well.
I never played the SSX games or Tricky, whatever. but so I can't compare what those were like compared to this.
I would
Probably
prefer
'cause you hated
1080 over it.
GameCube.
Plus, you had that stupid button thing you had to do for the GameCube. You had to hold one button to change two other buttons to do something
Yeah.
else because I didn't have as many buttons as the
It's so poorly
competition.
designed.
I still think this game looks all right, man. Look at it.
Oh, I love it. I think it still looks great. But
Like I said last week,
I'm a retro gamer, so
Clacked doesn't think any game really is
Yeah,
ages,
that's
so
not true.
it's hard to
That's
say.
not true.
It's hard to take your opinion on that stuff, but I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It looks pretty good for
it's better than Contra Road Corps.
Hey, we don't need to talk about that. Yo.
This reminds me of the Twilight Princess.
So
snowboarding.
Juice, looking at this then, what would you say that looks bad with it?
What do you think that looks bad with it? It's just
now in terms of like modern day and stuff as well.
just not very. It's just blurry and not very.
Foggy? Is it the fog?
And
Lots of
bland.
fog. There's like you just. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Let's try a different. Are they all this snowy and foggy?
No.
See, I just remember the old, the really low res, like even the background here. It's just not very sharp looking.
You were thinking about that stuff then? I don't understand.
If you just clean this up and did nothing else to it, it would hold up pretty well though. You know what I'm saying?
This look crazy to me.
If you just sharpen this up, like just I don't know, did nothing other than bump the resolution up, made it look crisp like a Dreamcast game or something, I think it would hold its own against that like a Dreamcast game.
I think people were jizzing when this shit came out. In hindsight, N64.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean back then. I mean now. He just asked me what.
Yeah.
What I think it doesn't.
I'm just saying I hear
hold
that
up.
a whole lot. Oh man, N64 textures.
There was a few.
Nobody was saying that shit.
There was a few games that
They
disappointed.
were better than PS1 textures. My God,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can defend that
Those
shit.
shaky ass walls and shit.
Defend that shit, man.
I'll stand by this to
Square
the
and
day I
triangle
die.
going everywhere.
Killer Instinct Gold looked like trash. The first time I saw it on the N64, that's the most disappointed I've been.
I will say, there
in
were
the
games that
N64
definitely
game.
did, like
That
KI
one,
Gold was one of them.
that one stood out. I was disappointed. As soon as I booted it up, I was like, "What the hell is this? This don't look much better."
I'd laugh because people like defended the PS1 graphics, even back then. I'd be like, yo, the PS1 couldn't even do straight lines. I'm not even lying. It couldn't do straight lines. It warp and bend because it couldn't.
I was trying. It was trying to make it good.
Yeah, I always thought PlayStation.
Any third person game, awful.
Even back then, because I had the N64 already. By the time I saw PS1 games, like, what the fuck? What's up
Siphon
with the
filter.
walls?
Ooh.
The walls don't even connect. Like,
The wall, they don't
I-
connect. They shaky as
did
hell.
love, I did love Gabe's run in Siphon Filter. His run was awesome. In that game.
That run in Siphon Filter is the best. And by best, I mean worst.
all right, so let's get to the questions. Surreal asks, in your opinions, what games deserve to be remastered or remade from the Nintendo Wii and from the GameCube? So if you can think of one of each, or
I got one for the Wii already.
go ahead.
Yeah, me too. Don't take it.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Okay.
I went niche. I figured
That probably
They're
just
a-
needs a
they're a bunch-
remaster, just up res and some modern online.
oh yeah, it needs modern online. Fuck that code shit. Oh my god.
To be remade, I mean, I would argue also if we're gonna go like Metroid Prime trilogy, that'd be nice.
That's a cop out. Is what that
It is come out, but I mean, a lot of people say it because it's a big game. Why not? It'd be great. I think Sunshine, and also I'll say Rabbids Go Home.
You fucking
remake
savage. One of the games I would have picked is already being remade, which was the SpongeBob game for GameCube. So
Yeah, I'm
if I
trying
had
to
to
think
pick another
GameCube.
one, I'm trying to think if I had to pick another one. Oh damn.
I mean, I wouldn't, like we had this discussion before. If they were gonna like go through Sunshine and tweak some stuff, get rid of the blue coin bullshit, or make it make sense where you didn't just have to randomly enter every level over just to try to find that missing one or two that you hadn't found. I wouldn't mind if they tweaked that game and gave it not just It'd have to be remade, obviously. Use a new game engine and stuff.
I mean by remakes, not remaster. I mean like remakes.
Yeah, they can't just. I wouldn't want them to just clean that up and put some new texture on it and leave it the base GameCube game.
So we talking remakes or remasters here?
Either
remakes.
or.
For me, remakes.
Remaster would be like fucking Galaxy 1 and 2 could just be remastered. They look good enough.
Kind of sharpen them.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean that those games still.
As far as the
really
Wii, I don't want to pick something that's like we've already had like I'm gonna say Mario Kart Wii or something that's already had a new version. That's what I'm trying to think of something that's like.
Hey man, give me fucking. Well, No More Heroes. I feel like is a really
that was gonna be an easy pick, but I was
that
like,
one or like Mad World.
Well,
Mad World I think would look great.
Yeah, they just that Mad World's a good game. Just for once the Wiimote controls were let it down a bit, I think. But for my Wii game, it'd be I'd have to pick The Last Story.
I should have saw that. I should have saw that one coming. I should have saw that one.
I remember when I completed it, and it was straight after I completed Xenoblade 1. I remember thinking at the time, do you know what? I don't know which one I prefer the best because they were both so fucking good.
Yeah, I remember because both those games came out around the same time. Well, because of the whole Operation Rainfall thing. And I remember for the longest time, people were just like, "Yeah, it's Xenoblade 1 all day." Like,
Pandora's Tower never gets any love, and that's so.
No, it does not at all. Motherfuckers forgot that was a part.
Nobody even care about Pandora's Tower.
Y'all was a disrespectful dudes.
And what are those games? I mean, I obviously I know.
Oh
them,
yeah, do you remember?
I don't know if they're RPGs. If they're like
most of them, 2 of them are RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One's a bit of a.
Well, I mean, they're all RPGs in a way.
Yeah.
They're
like
not. One of them's like kind of non-traditional.
Turn-based RPG, or they're like
No,
they're all.
They're like action.
Okay.
They're all essentially. I don't know if you knew the whole story, but essentially, all these games came out like towards the end of the Wii's lifespan in Japan, and then a lot of American fans had to like petition Nintendo to get them to release those games over here in the States.
See, how the hell that happened? How come we can't get that shit done now, yo? What the fuck?
Well, they swear that we didn't do it then, but we.
Yeah, they didn't really say it was us, but it was us. Like Nintendo never like outright said it was because of the fans, but we all knew that's why. Because they released them in like 2010 or some shit.
Right, they didn't want to give us the power. That's why they didn't say it.
Like it was literally like a year before the Wii U came out, and motherfuckers were like, "Oh, it's not. That wasn't because of the fans." What the fuck? Xenoblade had been out for like a year before they localized it. That ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no.
What about
The Last Story was Sakaguchi, Final Fantasy.
Sakaguchi, man.
And
yeah.
you had Umatsu.
That was a weird experience from what I remember.
I just thought of one.
Once you got into it, it's really good.
Yeah,
it took me a minute to get into it. I'll give you that.
It's kind of non-traditional a little bit.
What I want, I guess, most out of a Nintendo first party game, since most of the other ones have had new games, but
if we're talking,
it wouldn't make
Nintendo,
as much sense to bring. Like I said, Mario Kart Wii makes no sense now that 8's out. But I think Donkey Kong Country Returns would be a good one to get, like, put it in the Tropical Freeze engine or something, and just, I don't know, maybe just they could remaster that one somehow and make it.
Well, I got 2 for talking. If you're talking about like Nintendo IPs, I'm gonna get shit for this one, but I literally think this game would be fine if it had better controls, and maybe some changes to some of the levels. I think Metroid Other M would be fine.
You better not.
I honestly think, bruh, if you fix that control scheme, it would be fine.
The control scheme was all right. It was
no, it was not.
Get rid of the
the story, man.
Dude, you had to,
for another game, not Metroid.
Yeah, get rid of the first person slow aiming, can't move while you aim.
I don't even know why that was a thing. It's like it came with a remote.
It was weird. It was like a gimmick for a Metroid game, and
they act like it didn't come with a nunchuck or something. It came. The system.
That's why they fixed those controls. Because fuck that. Playing a 3D game with a D-pad bullshit. That shit was aggravating.
It's a hardcore ass game, and try to make it for everybody by simplifying the hell out of its controls. Like, what was the point of that? Like, nobody. You're not gonna make people buy Metroid just by making the control scheme really, really simple. Using one Wiimote. That was not gonna make Metroid.
That was
popular.
stupid. Yeah, that was
a stupid move.
Also, side note, I
the
saw
level
they put
design wasn't great.
I saw they put Mario Strikers in there. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Or
Mario
just,
Sports games. The Mario Sports games kind of died.
They were dope on GameCube. I'll give them that.
I think for the GameCube title for me, the Nomad, my boy, he already mentioned Beautiful Joe. I'd love to see that in crisp HD. It's such a good game. But I also saw I was gonna pick of all games Eternal Darkness, and since we were talking about the Resident Evil 2 remake, if Eternal Darkness got done with Resident Evil 2 style, remake, then I think that could be pretty tasty as well. So
it's funny you brought up Eternal Darkness. Somebody got really pissy about my take on Eternal Darkness during my Wii versus GameCube video. How old is that video? Somebody recently posted something. They were mad about. I guess they thought I was being dismissive of Eternal Darkness and shit. Motherfucker.
Yeah, I didn't replay it, so I don't have very. My memories of it have faded quite a bit since I played it.
What I said in the mid video is the game has a great story. It's really cool mechanic of switching characters.
The atmosphere.
But that's it. You got the sanity meter, which it's cool the first 5-6 times. Yeah. But after that, it's like, all right, I know what's going on here.
They break it as well, and by giving you the power to reduce just your insanity and stuff. Which
remember that combat?
We've messed it up. Yeah, so like people weren't too fond of the combat. I didn't mind it. So if we did bring it back,
bad. I just was not.
Yes. Well, if we did bring it back and then made it like Resi 2 a bit more free, where you can still target body parts, they still highlight them, but you can move a lot better and stuff, then perhaps it'll work better,
And don't let that dude have what is his name? Dennis Dyack, is that him?
Dyack, yeah.
Was that their Eternal Darkness guy?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Don't have keep him away from it.
Keep him away from everything.
If you're gonna remake, because that he's a car salesman at this point.
Used car salesman.
Yeah. All right.
Pick.
Go ahead.
Real quick, the Conduit series. I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the
underrated, forgotten about. It's right up my alley. Sci-fi.
Oh, what about Sin and Punishment?
Yeah, Joe, I was actually playing it the other day. No joke. I was playing it the other day, and I was like, "Fuck, man! I miss Treasure."
Star Successor or the original?
Yeah, Star Successor. I got them both. I got the original when it came on Wii U, and then I got the Star Successor on the Wii, and I was literally playing it the other day, and I was like, "Fucking hell, man! This is such a good shoot 'em up." It's a damn shame.
I'd say
Treasure and that active,
Oh, Sonic Colors, yeah, I saw.
Sonic Colors is such a good game, and it's the only Sonic game that I don't think it has an HD re-release. Sonic Colors is literally only on the Wii. That's the only system you can get it on. Even now in 2019.
That's a great one.
I think
trapped on the Wii.
I think the biggest complaint I saw with the Conduit was just how it got so linear, and the AI was pretty trash. But
stuff I would fix in a remaster.
All right, so next
storyline and the cool weapons and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Next question is from Mizutide89. How many games do you have on your Switch wish list? Is that like the actual?
Oh, you mean the wish list in the eShop?
I'm guessing. He says he's got 22.
Let me go check.
I have 0 because I don't use that function. So
I use it because actually I found out Nintendo actually will email you when shit goes on sale. It's so weird.
They started doing that.
It was a weird experience.
Be like Steam and shit.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Anybody know a number or have an idea? Or
I don't know.
I'm checking right now.
I got a good.
Anybody know what the max is? Because
I've never tried the max before.
I maxed out one time.
Really?
What?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you can max out on your wish list.
Well, you don't have to count. It says the number at the top. So I got 80. I got 86 items on mine.
86?
Oh, yeah, you're probably close to the max. It's probably 100 or something. I'm around there too, I'm sure.
I'm only around like 20 years.
It told me I can't add this to my wish list because there's too much shit on there. So
you gotta start buying these games, yo.
I got 5 kids to feed, man. I can't afford them.
I'm waiting on them crazy ass sales. I can get it for $2.
Which reminds me, fucking the Sonic collection just went on sale for like $6, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't even need it."
They had some I was on the other night and I saw, shit, what game was it? I'd have to. It was like normally like 40 something. And it was on sale for like $15 or something. And it was, pretty big game. Then Hellblade was on sale. That was like 30% off. It was like $20 or $18. And there was a bunch of games. I was like, shit, I either already owned them or, wasn't never going to buy them type of thing. But they had some pretty good sales just randomly last week, and I was looking.
And the thing about at least this is how I use my wish list. It's not that I'm definitely going to buy it. Oh, that looked interesting. Let me put it in my wish list.
Yeah, just to keep track of it. Yeah, I agree.
I just don't want it to get lost, in the shuffle of garbage.
I mean, it's almost unfortunate because there are games like you look and it's like, man, I'd like to play them, but like when?
You're doing pretty good though. Robert's got a nice schedule going. He's beating games left and right.
I know. Give us your secrets, Rob.
Yeah, you should make a video.
Like this is kind of like I see like a lot of the eShop titles. Like, yeah, I like that, but it's like I'd actually have to put on the backlog then.
Secret is he's young with a lot of free time. What the fuck?
That is true.
I mean, it's not necessary to me. It's like if you could at least put an hour a day. If you can't, you probably are like dead.
Wow. You're fucking dead.
And I actually don't play games every single day. Like there are still some days where it just doesn't happen. I mean that's the usual.
You also have like binge days though.
Well,
days where you're playing like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I'll have binge days. And to be fair, the streams help. When I play a single player game, I'm able to just put in a good 2.5 hours. But to me, it's like I always put at least an hour for the backlog, and then if I got time to play my current games, I do that. But for the backlog, I always play at least an hour. And like this weekend though, Borderlands 3 is fucking amazing.
Bro, to elementary school.
I forgot that came out already. God damn.
Dude, it's so fucking good. I mean,
why do they do this? It's not even fucking October yet.
That time. Throw a wife in there. Throw 2 kids who need
help.
No,
for sure. No, I get that, man. I get that.
Then we'll talk.
I get that, but I mean,
well, here the thing for me is like
when I do get the binge in, I'm like, I just played like 8 hours straight. I feel like I'm a loser. What are you doing? You can't do this. You got 2 kids and a wife. You can't be playing games for 8 hours.
Yeah, man, I feel exactly the same
my
way,
solution
man.
is just not to buy a bunch of games. That's how I've always kind of done it.
I haven't played 8 hours in a long time. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. It just
wait. Why am I a Nintendo hater? Somebody said. Oh, that's Unforgiven. It's being funny.
Is that the dude that just sold a very nice full copy version of Ocarina of Time on his Twitter? I thought he said he just sold it it didn't look. I don't know if it was complete inside, but it was a nice looking box. Ocarina of Time, and he posted something about he just sold it.
Did he say how much?
I didn't say. I didn't think. I was like, man, that hurts. That hurts my soul to see. But because I don't think they're not like super valuable where you're gonna get hundreds of dollars for it. But
complete a box, you're gonna get at least 60 off that bitch.
Yeah. All right. Next question from Dekubu. That's releases. For example, one might get Fire Emblem and skip Astral Chain. There are just too many good games. The Nintendo Switch seems to have a constant announcements and released in a short period of time. Should Nintendo slow down with the announcements?
Nah.
I think so because the Ring Fit whatever we didn't even talk about. Like that's coming out in October, and then they just announced. What else got announced recently that during the direct that they're like, oh yeah, this comes out. Oh, the Town game.
Oh yeah, My Town Hero.
And then they're like, Doom 64 is coming out same day as Doom Eternal, and then the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are coming out.
And then doesn't Ori come out like in a few weeks?
Ori's coming out. Witcher 3.
And you're just like, fuck, man.
Don't worry about Nino Cooney, apparently.
Nino Cooney.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to do, T? I got obligations.
It's just
buy the new games. Instead of buying all these old-ass ports, buy the new games.
Well, why release them right now? Like, I think you'd be better off going January and February when you don't have all this competition. I don't know. I mean, the holiday sales rush is gonna be ridiculous with the light and Pokemon and fucking with all the other games that are already out. Like, it's gonna be ridiculous. but
there's gonna be some winners and a lot of losers.
Yeah, that's.
Damn it, Ex Machina is gonna lose, bro.
Damn it, Ex Machina is gonna be one of the.
We don't think Marvelous for that one piece of shit.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, I made a statement about how Nintendo handled that stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I don't monetize my channel, so I don't care. It's their IPs. But now I've come like completely did a 180 on that stuff, and I'm just looking at all the people, these big YouTube channels, like, man, I want to cover this game. They're showing all the copyright strikes for anything, and I'm like,
this game was still like, it's saying it wasn't gonna sell. Anyway.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
That's a bad look. It's a bad look.
What I'm saying is, people act like, oh, it's definitely gonna bomb now. The game probably is gonna bomb either way.
Bomb regardless.
I agree.
Especially putting out a week before Link's Awakening, and
it's too
bad timing, and just it's a niche as a genre. It's just a niche genre,
which is odd, to be honest. That's niche is driving a fucking giant robot shooting down shit. But
that's always been like a Japanese thing.
It's more Japanese Gundam shit,
Like I mean, you got some weird ass Americans who like it, but like
who would pay exorbitant fucking what do you call it? Expedition fees, exorbitant shipping fees, just to get the big stupid ass version.
Because we're fucking morons, but we want it.
Dude, I work in a shipping warehouse, and we have a UPS way up thing where it's like it's their computer, their software, and just a 1 pound envelope going from Michigan to Indiana, fucking $19.44 UPS charges. And I looked at the breakdown. It was a residential address, so that's a $4 on top of the $9 for the actual shipping package. Then it was $4 for like something to do with the area, like an additional charge for, it wasn't like a rural area, so another $4 for that, and then like $1.89 gas charge, and it was like $19 for a 0.9 pound envelope going from one state to the next, probably 300-400 miles tops. Like, what the fuck? What's a California shipment cost? Like, it's just
18.
Yeah, I think it's actually cheaper going to a city further away. It's just like, I was like, oh, how do these people pay for this? Like, the parts that they bought from us was like $30, and the shipping's gonna be $20. It's like, Jesus Christ.
The shipping for right now, anyway, for Daemon X Machina, the Orbiter's edition that I had clocked it by for me, is gonna be half the price. It's gonna be the price of a game almost.
I shipped Retro Death 2 or 3 Blu-rays to France from the United States. It was $25. Obviously, it was a smaller box because it's just 2 Blu-ray cases, and he got it like 2 days later, and it was $25. Compare that to an envelope that's going to the next state for fucking $20. It's just crazy.
That's crazy.
Anyway. All right, next question, because I think it's pretty. I think everyone agreed that maybe they could slow down on the announcements and maybe put some stuff next year.
Well, at least space it out. It out. It's just
I'm looking at like, okay, so am I just gonna? What am I gonna? Something gonna have to give.
Because they just announced Overwatch, and that comes out next month. They just announced it.
You just can't. It's like, dude, where do you think this money's coming from?
I don't know. It's difficult now because you got Nintendo on form. Let's just we talked about this. Even if Nintendo just released one game a month, right? You got all the third party stuff. Then you can't expect third parties to, like, stand aside and say, oh, fucking no, we gotta wait. Or this we're just we're at a point now where it's just so many great games.
Is The Witcher 3 coming too?
So many releases. you gotta deal with it.
Doesn't Witcher 3 come out same time frame as Dragon Quest 11?
It comes out October.
No, it comes out next month. Then it comes out in October.
I thought Ori was the October and.
Well, fuck it. Now we gotta go look
September,
it up.
But I could be wrong.
I'm actually on it. I see that
October.
Overwatch and Witcher come out the same day, and then the next.
See, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
I think what the problem is they're not announcing these games far enough in advance, so I don't think the other third-party companies know.
They're dropping.
Because they just announced Overwatch 2 weeks ago, and
not even
a week and a half
ago.
That stealth shit is good earlier in the year, not at the end.
Yeah, like this is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, yo, chill. Hey, listen, Juice, they heard you. They were like, Ah, man, 2018 was pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
All right, bitch.
Oh, you didn't like
lackluster?
2018, huh?
There's some people who tried to
you
spin
want
it.
some games?
2018, there's a whole bunch of games. Just there's not your taste. You need to expand your horizons. Compare 2018 to 2019. It's not even fucking close.
Exactly.
It's too much though. It literally
This
is too
has
much.
just been a pretty disgusting year all around.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's gonna come to a point where just like I mean, it already is a point where I want to pick up Nino Kuni, but at the same time, it's like, well,
Don't forget about Alien Isolation.
to be fair, that game, it's been out for years. So if I already waited years, I could probably wait a little bit more. So I'll just pick it up later.
And
You know what I mean?
what's coming out in December? I don't know that there's
Nothing.
any
We literally have heard nothing about December.
What is the physical copy for Cuphead and shit?
Yeah,
I don't know. When is the DLC for Cuphead coming out?
Goddamn game sold enough to get Warren a physical copy. Where my physical copy at, bitch?
What do they all talk like?
Oh my
It's
god!
Golden Knight mode there a little bit.
I'm a little worried though that 2020 is gonna be like, oh shit, we blew our wad in 2019. But
Nah, man, you
say that, but
honestly,
do you see how 2020 starting?
2020 starting is stacked already.
Yeah, because it's a fucking Wii U port, and then one of the most anticipated games in years.
which one? Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is pretty.
No, but I'm
anticipated.
also talking about third party with Cyberpunk, and there's a whole lot of shit.
Well,
coming
yeah,
out.
but not on the Switch.
Forget about Tokyo Mirage, bitch.
Hey man, fuck you, sir.
You think Xenoblade Remaster will be the end of the year next year?
No, I think they'll actually give that the middle. I do think
I
they'll
think
give
it'll be in the middle somewhere too. Yeah.
All right, so Dave97, Ass and T is gonna love this one. When you look back on the Switch's library, do you see Starlink Battle for Atlas being a hidden gem? I don't know if it would be a
fucking asshole.
I don't know if that would count as a hidden gem.
I wouldn't say it's hidden.
I think it did pretty well on the Switch, but let's
it's
see
not
if
well
there's any
enough.
numbers. See if VG Chart's got any kind of number.
Yeah, not well enough, but I think it obviously sold the best.
It sold well on Switch. I think it sold almost like 500,000
range.
I know. Let's remember they had Star Fox in there. That was a crazy reveal. You know, it wasn't hidden, and you know maybe a little gem perhaps.
Hidden gems at the time when they come out, nobody thinks they're hidden, but a few years later, people forget about the shit. Like, oh yeah, remember that game? That's what makes it a hidden gem. Like 5-10 years down the road. And I think Starlink will probably be that because they're not making another one, for one.
Yeah, he thought asked if it could get a sequel. I could see a Switch exclusive sequel, but not being kind of being a.
I'm sure Ubisoft came out recently and said that they were gutted that it didn't do as well as they thought it would do. I think they were planning on building up a series for it, but I can't see it happening now.
Yeah, they put all those fucking toys into it. They were planning on a series.
Oh yeah, that the toy part would have to be canceled officially. Like they couldn't try that again. If they were gonna make a sequel, it'd have to be Switch exclusive. Forget the toys. Maybe you could if you had some, you could use them, but try to refine it. And I don't think they would try to go as grand with it either if they made a sequel. I think it would be kind of scaled back.
But here's my question though. Do you think that maybe Nintendo's looking at them for Ubisoft for like a possible Star Fox game?
I hope so.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope they're looking at that team. You're like, yo, you guys want to make a Star Fox game? Yeah, I bet.
Well, in April they halted production of physical toys and stuff for the game.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I kind of figured that was going to be the case.
Well, everybody else did that shit 2 years ago. That shit was dead a couple years ago. So
fucking savage.
They were already coming out into a market.
He was keeping them propped up with all his purchases, man.
I got them though. I bought all them shits.
How's your wallet feeling?
All I could find is someone saying the first week was 87,000 on Switch.
I think it did all right.
So
no, I think it did around 400,000 copies, which that's good, but it's not
with all that money they had invested in the toys, though.
Well, considering it came out on every platform, that was the other problem.
Yeah.
Your only successful one was the Nintendo one.
I know that was a cool aspect of it, but I really think that if they just went the route of the game, making the game.
Yeah,
you know,
the timing wasn't good either. That's the end of the year. All the big games come out around then. You need that shit. You need to, especially with a game like that, where you're buying extra things for it. That needs to come out in the dead months.
I think if it would have just came out as a shooter without the toys, I think it probably would have had a better chance.
But again, we're talking about a niche, somewhat niche genre.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, you're putting that, and then you got the toys on top of it. Yeah, and then you got the time of year it came out. That's beyond good and evil status. Like they buried beyond good and evil because with
video games is swords and sorcery and spaceships and fucking robots, freaking bald-headed Marines running around all the time. And realistic Hollywood actors with giant backpacks and shit. No one wants that.
Oh Jesus
That's
Christ!
not video games.
That's a life choice.
I want video games to look like real life. That's exciting.
I'm just looking at my like I have a little countdown for games coming out, and it's just too many, dude. I'm looking. Oh my god, it's scary actually. Oh god.
Are you not prepared? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm about to. Oh god, it's gonna be a huge. I guess I'm gonna have to just rip through them in like December to January. Yeah.
So, what any of you guys watch reviews for the Sega Genesis Mini?
Yeah, I watched Digital Foundries.
Seemed to be. I didn't watch that one. I'm playing it now, but it seemed to be well received. The couple of reviews I watched, people were pretty impressed.
I saw them and I saw the Game Explainer.
So Sega actually did something right with some hardware.
All right, Lee, chill out, yo. All right, they do okay. They do. They try to get. They gotten that shit together at least recently.
Yeah. One thing I didn't know is that actually it was M2 who done the conversion to these games. Yeah, which is a bit encouraging. So
I wish they would have picked more solid games because there's a few filler games. I mean, they got a list of 40, but I think you could have made like a list of 40 just bangers.
I think with some of their games as well, because I think I found this. I say I found that I think I knew, just forgot. But for example, you already got like Sonic.
All 2,
chuck all the Sonic games on there, chuck all the Streets of Rage, chuck all the Shinobi games on there, chuck all the Golden Axes, fucking just all those series that were on there, chuck them on there.
I don't know. I always thought, for some reason in my mind, Streets of Rage 2 looking completely different and way better. I don't know. I was surprised when I saw footage of it.
Don't go chewing that game out here now, Chuck.
No, for some reason, I had seen some footage of what I thought was the Streets of Rage game that looked completely different, like the art style and everything. I don't know.
You might have seen Streets of Rage 3. Streets of Rage 3, I think, looks like trash. I don't like the look of Streets of Rage 3 at all.
Yeah, I don't like 3 either. Yeah.
I don't know. I never played like
Streets
myself.
of Rage 2 was the best looking game when it came out.
In my mind, I remember it looking different, but wow, he's actually put a mini cartridge in there. What the fuck? That's not real, right?
No, that's a custom one. I think he's got.
Yes.
Oh no! Actually, the flaps do work on a.
So maybe you can buy just a.
He's got a little cartridge there. Yeah.
That'd be cool. He has one for the Super NES too. So I just think I'm impressed that they didn't fudge it up like Sony did with the PlayStation.
Once they said M2 was involved, I stopped worrying. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't like.
What they said in this video is that the control input and the sound delay is a bit off, but that seems to be they mentioned this seems to be a problem with. At the end of the day, these are emulated games, and they're never going to be one-on-one with original hardware. That's the whole nature of emulation, isn't it? You can't get it perfect. But I think the sound delay is still a little off, a few frames off, which can be a little off-putting if you start noticing it. But apart from that, I think overall it was all right.
Looking at the trash that Sega been putting out before that, using at games.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
This is a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it was still thanks to Nintendo that got them to try.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck it, at least it's a good product.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, will it sell?
I think it will. I think it will.
I think it'll be okay, but I think it would have done a lot better had this been last year.
Probably.
I think people are starting to get a little bit.
And what about the
play console?
How much is it again? I forget.
I don't know the price.
80.
Fuck. Yeah.
The mini CD. That's funny with a mini Mega Drive or 32X. Somebody mocked up. I think they went with the 3-button controller, which limited some of the game choices. It's not like we need another version of Street Fighter 2, but I don't know what other games took advantage of the 6-button controller later in the life.
Fighting games.
I think it's mostly fighting games. Yeah, I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
Just wondering what the deal is with who owns the Mortal Kombat now? Warner Brothers. Midway was originally like none of these are putting like the classic Mortal Kombat 1 or 2 on. Like to me that would make them stand out versus the Super NES and the PlayStation.
Is Mortal Kombat 1's on yet, is it?
No, I haven't seen. I don't even think Mortal Kombat's ever been on the Virtual Console or anything. Like they
It's
just
on mine.
for some reason they don't put out those
You
classic.
ain't shit, yo.
It's on my SNES.
And does this have does this have Virtual Racer?
I think it does.
They didn't cover it in the videos I watched the reviews.
Let's grab a list, shall we?
It's different in each region too. There's exclusives. Earthworm Jim looks pretty good. Like that looked better than I remembered.
Isn't that coming out for a new console? What's that? Coleco. I think it's going to be on that Coleco console. We got these little side consoles coming out. People aren't really talking about. Some of them are pretty stinking cool.
Isn't there a Neo Geo Mini or something?
No. This. I don't think that was Neo Geo Mini. I think
you're thinking of something else.
I think it was the Coleco, that weird Coleco one with the weird controllers, who has digital readouts on the controllers and shit.
I think there's a mini PC Engine coming, isn't it?
There is, yep, mini PC Engine coming. So yeah,
I don't remember the Genesis saying high definition graphics either on the.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Oh, this is one cool thing. So when you change the language, all the box art changes, the layout of the screen changes to the artwork of those regions and stuff, which is pretty cool. And you actually get the versions. You actually get the versions of the game. So if you change the Japanese language to Japanese, you'll get be able to play the Japanese version of the game. So in some respects, there's like double games on it.
I'll just mod that shit. Put what I want. I'll put what I want to put on that bit.
You selfish. Support the game industry, bitch.
I bought it. I can do what I want to do.
I love one of the reviews like, oh, this comes with a 5-foot controller, unlike the Super NES and NES Classic came with a 3-foot controller. I'm like, the Super NES fixed that with a
I saw that too. I was like, wait
5
a minute,
or 6.
Just put out some wrong information there, pal.
Yeah, the NES for sure was 3-foot. That was just stupid. I don't know what they were thinking.
They probably don't even have that shit.
They were misunderstood.
I heard it. So.
And what about the Genesis collection that came out on Switch a while back? What was the games library compared to this?
All right, so
it was more focused.
They had more of what I was saying, like all the Shinobis and all the Streets of Rage on it, all the Sonic games. So they had more of the series on there. But then it didn't have like the Mega Mans and the Castlevanias and some of the other rare games that they got on here.
It has very gorgeous production value.
I like the screen.
I don't like the way you said that, T.
Oh no, I'm straight up. It's real cool. Like you got your game shelf and you go and you actually pull it out. Pretty cool.
Yeah, they definitely went further with it. That's one of the things about the Nintendo Switch Online, Super NES. It's like, yeah, the box arts are nice and stuff, but you rearrange them, and then it's like you put 3 on the top row and they're bigger, and then you have 5 in the next row and they're small, and it's like that's cool, but I kind of want to, like you do the suspend state, but I also feel like it should treat it automatically, like I never turn the system off, like my high scores in Mario Kart. The time trials, is that going to save and other than me just doing a suspend point like this, it just I was like, man, should I leave the game or should I create a suspense point? What happens when I come back to Mario Kart? Is my time trial gone?
You try it. I don't know.
So I had to test. I did a save, what do they call it? Create a suspend point or whatever.
Store point or whatever.
That's the thing about modding these consoles is that it will eat into the RAM that you need to the memory that you need to do the save states and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be careful how many games you put on there.
I just wish it automatically just like it's like you never turned the game off. You left it, and it just like, like some games have like Link's Awakening or Link to the Past. When you click the save, like Super Mario World, it's like save and continue, save and exit, continue without saving. If I save and exit and then close the application, I haven't tested it because like I said, I create a suspend point every time. But I'm curious if it does actually save it if you don't do that.
Did you ever do that with a game? Like, you couldn't beat it in time, or something happened, you had to go to bed or whatever?
I didn't. My buddy did. He left his on Final Fantasy.
Even on, and then my fucking mom would turn that shit off. Oh, you forgot your Nintendo. You left it on. Oh no! No, I was playing Bionic Commando. I was at the last boss.
I have done that. I've done that on consoles that had memory cards. Like I did that on the GameCube, like a dickhead. Just left the bitch running all night.
See, I never did that.
You've never done that?
No, never. I mean, every game I played, it was either like not every game, but a lot of the games either had save points, or they were just arcade type games where you just start them over anyway, like Star Fox. Like doesn't remember anything you do. You just keep playing it over and over.
None of the Sonics or the early ones.
Nope. And that
so I remember playing Sonic 2, getting to Robotnik at the end, having nothing, having no rings. All you got is continue. You can continue your ass off, but that's it. And I was like, I'm to the point where I can't, like my brain just doesn't want to work anymore because you just keep playing the same thing. You gotta go away and come back, and that's what I did. And I came back and I beat that bit. I was so happy.
I had to do Metal Gear Solid, the original. I could not beat the Metal Gear at the end. The final boss. And then the next day, or day or two later, I just one try, just like nothing after dying.
It had password saves.
So the Nomad in the live chat was talking about he's waiting for the Dreamcast Mini. That would be awesome, except for they'd have to really. You can't have the VMU.
That shit would be $200.
You can't have the removable stuff. The controller would have to be solid and either just have rumble or not have it. And then that would be the biggest problem, would be you can't put a screen on that controller, otherwise it's going to cost as much as the system did when it was new.
People assuming that we're going to get I don't think that's happening.
You wouldn't need the VMU, for.
Yeah, but you want it.
The controller would have to obviously fill that hole
and just be a thing that looks cool. Wouldn't really have any function.
Yeah, that'd be a whole lot of controller, in a little mini system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the controller would be bigger than the damn console.
Same with the N64. That's the other thing with the N64. Now, does it work? Do they put where you need the memory card in the controller, or do they just release a controller without a memory card or a rumble pack slot in the bottom? There's some.
See, that's
I don't think it's gonna happen.
The rumble pack was important for the N64.
But could they just put rumble in the controller and not? Because who's gonna have a rumble pack other than me, you, and T? Who's gonna have a rumble pack to stick in the bottom of that N64 classic controller?
5 people. That's it.
So just have to not use that and have rumble.
I think it was always the case where we started going higher and higher with these consoles. They were going to naturally just be more and more expensive,
mm-hmm.
And less games unless they really start pumping memory into them.
Yeah, you don't want to do it if your mini console's getting close to your Switch Lite in price.
Yeah.
Then it's like...
I modded my rumble pack to where it ran off the console.
Yeah.
Anybody do that?
No, you told me about that though.
Yeah, don't do it. Because it cuts your rumble what do you call it? Intensity down by at least 25%.
I bet.
Like I can't realistically see anyone going above the 32-bit era. I really can't.
Sega Saturn Mini.
Sony did it. I'm surprised that Sony did 32-bit. Well, they had to because that's their first console.
Yeah.
But look what it was.
Yeah,
like they stripped that bitch down, and now they're giving it away for.
So here's
you $20 to take it.
I was just joking about the Saturn Mini because I mean that sold even less than the Dreamcast, didn't it? Or
yeah, so
you want to hear a story that's gonna really hurt you guys' hearts. The only time I ever played the Saturn was at Toys R Us, sitting next to Mario 64. They had the Saturn with Knights and the new analog controller. That's the only experience I have with the Saturn. I don't even know what the standard controller looks like, or never
It looks like
touched it.
a Genesis 6-button controller.
Does
mostly.
it?
Just slimmer, more stylish. It's fucking beautiful. It's got
Wow.
lovely.
I remember the
Super
analog
light.
one was kind of a weird shape, if I remember. For Knights.
Yeah, that was kind of like an early Dreamcast controller.
Yeah, that's
Early
what.
Dreamcast, yeah, basically.
Let me look up the Saturn. I just had no interest in.
You mentioned the Saturn. It's like, you know, everyone knows that, you know, hardly anyone, you know, fucking played that thing. You know, I like even my group of friends, you know, in you know, over here, they were massive Mega Drive fans, massive Dreamcast fans, and you know, none of them got a Saturn. Whether it's because, you know, they got someone else at the time or couldn't afford it at the time, or sometimes they just didn't even know.
They didn't even know. I knew one person.
It was difficult, man. It was
I knew one person with a Saturn. That's because I talked them into buying one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the controller does look.
I remember going into the local game shop when all I had was my Saturn. I had my Saturn before my PS1 and my N64, and I go there, the little Saturn shelf just around the corner, tucked away in the corner. Around the other side was a PS1, the wall space all taken up by PS1 games.
All the way down,
Wow.
yeah.
N64 on the other side, PC upstairs. And then the Saturn just had two shelf areas, and I was just in that corner, standing there by myself. Tumbleweed going past. I was like, shit, what should I buy today, man?
That's one of the things, because people, you know, they rag on Xbox for this and that. Nobody rags on Sony for their strong arm tactics they used to do with retailers to get, basically, to kill off the Genesis or not the Genesis, but the Saturn and the Dreamcast. They did some strong arm shit to retailers, saying, "Oh, well, if you know, decide to stock this and that much amount of Dreamcast, we may not have enough stock of PlayStation 2s for you." They would do that shit. You know, and nobody ever gave them flack for that.
I've never even seen the Saturn box art till just now. I'd never seen one at a store.
Ouch.
What was the box in the US? Was that a white box? The white box?
Well, this box I'm looking at, I don't know what region.
Yeah.
The original one.
It's on the
You got-
screen.
there's also
Right there.
different
Has the
models.
yellow on it.
There's also different models of Saturns as well, which are different boxes.
And then they had the 3 free game version when they started not selling for shit. So it came with Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Cop 2, and Daytona USA.
Yeah.
Look at this.
So, Juice, you see that box on the right there in the middle?
Yeah.
That's
$200 in 3 games.
the original UK one there. That's the one I originally had.
Let me click back to where I was because
I thought for sure it was going to sell then. $200 and 3 games comes with it.
Which one in the white box? Oh, that one says Virtual Fighter.
I'm obviously a bit behind you here. So that's the second model one that they released in the UK. So your mouse now, the one on the left of that one.
That gray one is the first model, wasn't it?
What's the one that has the picture of the planet in the background? Was that the US or?
No.
Planet in the background.
Yeah, it's got the planet with the rings of Saturn.
You're a bit delayed on me, but if you don't move the screen at all now,
I already
it's
moved it. So
second picture down on the left.
Yeah, that one's US.
So the one I'm seeing second down on the left has the planet Saturn with a stupid ring around it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that I see the white box one, maybe I did see this somewhere. But it was like literally, I think I was still like, we were still talking about this 32X and shit. I remember in like '94, it felt like the Saturn just came and went from me.
32X that's when it came out. But that was the problem. It came out and Sega Japan was like, oh well, we got this Saturn thing. You guys in the US, you can go ahead and put out that 32X bullshit, but we got the Saturn. And so they just kept butting heads, US and Japan. But the cool thing is that at least, unlike Nintendo, Sega US could do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I was surprised
that was
how.
A good thing, but it also was a bad thing because Sega Japan.
Virtua Fighter 2, man, high res, 60 frames a second, beautiful.
Egos.
Man, that Genesis version was pretty bad though of Virtua Fighter 2. That was his 2D fighter.
Yeah, that was just 2D. Yeah.
Well, the original Virtua Fighter, I was thinking, original Virtua Fighter on Saturn was trash too. They had to remake it.
And the Saturn wasn't really designed for as. They weren't really thinking 3D games, just like the PlayStation.
They saw the PlayStation like, oh shit! So they went through that other processor, and then that's what made it so fucking hard to develop for. They threw a last minute processor in there.
Yeah, I still remember at the arcade. I think this was the
right
first
here.
3D one.
Put your money down. I'll murk you right now.
This came out before Tekken, of course, right?
Yeah, this is before Tekken.
Because I remember this and Tekken were like the big 3D fighters.
Tekken was because of this. Like Tekken, all those guys were because of Virtua Fighter.
Yep.
All right, so trip down memory lane seems like we've been doing every week now.
The fans love it. They love it.
18-year anniversary of the GameCube somewhere, and it's not in the U.S. till November, but somewhere had, I think maybe Japan or somebody had the 18-year anniversary.
You said you wanted to you want to go down.
No, I'm just saying.
And now you want to start talking.
We'll wait till it's the 20th before we give it.
Stick to the 5s and the 10s, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
All right, so this is a question from Terminator Juice. He asked,
What?
do you expect the power level of the Switch 2, not the Switch Pro, like the official successor, whatever it is, to be above or below what the Xbox One is right now?
Below?
Xbox One X, I mean. Did I say?
Oh, Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Ooh, X.
I say below. That's what I think.
Yeah, I probably would still say below.
Can I say essentially the same?
Because I would be a little disappointed if it was still below.
I don't think it'll be below. I think it'll be pretty much the same or super, kind of like Wii U. You know?
So, are we assuming that the Switch 2 is going to be another hybrid system?
I mean, who knows? I don't know what else.
If they go back, y'all gonna be pissed.
I think it has to be, but there's
ain't
no
got no
saying.
choice,
There's
son.
no saying. But I just look at what they've, like, the Wii U questionably was like, it was really close to the previous generation, 360 and PS3, and then the Switch is below the current gen, but it's more powerful than last gen. But with the refreshes for the, if it was just base model PS4, Xbox One, I think it'd be a no-brainer. But I think Nintendo, like, 720p was kind of the standard on Wii U. On Switch, they're really hovering around the 900. A few games are doing the 1080. I think the next system's going to be focused on 1080 and be, I think, about PS4 Pro level.
1080 and 2K.
So that's kind of, especially if it's a hybrid again. And I think I don't think we're talking 4 years from now either. I think we're talking 2.5.
Like it's not even gonna bother me because what we got now looks so good right now. Like we're getting to a point where you're getting diminishing returns here.
Yeah, unless you really throw some fucking processing power.
Right, but then you're talking about an $800 console.
Which is going to be interesting with the PlayStation 5, what they're talking. It's like, that ain't $400. Like, there's no fucking way.
Maybe they feel confident they're back to the point where they can lose $200 a console again. I don't know if they want to do that shit.
But I think, seeing God of War or seeing Death Stranding, as much as the gameplay looks kind of shit, like, if someone told me that, hey, that's a PS5 game, that's not coming to PS4, I wouldn't have doubted it. Like, the way they're pushing the systems now is only going to make the next gen look that less of a leap again, especially in the first couple years.
Yeah.
So I think for Nintendo, with Switch being where it's at, they still have the most room to have a decent jump versus the PlayStation and Xbox with their mid-fresh, whatever you want to call it.
We're talking, 3 years down the line, even, 3.5 years from now. On the next console.
I've always argued that Nintendo have moved at, for me, the right pace that the industry technically should be moving at. I mean, they went a little behind. I
think the Wii was not enough. I think that was way too. That was way too.
Wii was a little too late.
But what I mean,
it came way too late. That was the problem.
What I mean is, in terms of where we are with gameplay, to where we are with graphics, it's kind of like when Breath of the Wild came out and then put everything else to shame. We had these 1080p, massive open world games for years from all these big developers. Breath of the Wild comes out, and gameplay wise, absolutely destroys them. And even graphically, then we were just like, oh man, this game is absolutely stunning. And we didn't and then we'd have like Horizon Zero Dawn, which gameplay wise then falls flat right next to Zelda, which technically was a generation behind, graphically. So I do like you said, I do really feel like we have got so much more to gain from being with Nintendo first and foremost, because now if they step it up again, they can still blow our balls off. Whereas, I mean, how much better can it's like I look at like The Last of Us 2 and Cyberpunk and stuff like that, and I'm like fucking hell, man, And then
I
even like
see.
Uncharted 4 is.
I get what you're saying there. Like, I would say more like Final Fantasy VII. I'm looking at like what else can you do? But when I see what I expect to see with Cyberpunk on the actual consoles, I think there's going to be some where the next gen might as well just waited for the next gen, like for some of the, I don't know. I think that game's a little too ambitious for what they want for the current power though of the systems. Whereas I think Final Fantasy VII with its art style, like what more can you gain with more power with that art style? I just think
to say with FF7, I think this reminds us why we love Square Devoted, just because number one, their character designs back then were infinitely better than what we have now. If you put the cast of Final Fantasy 7 next to the cast of Final Fantasy 15, you'll just see a massive difference in terms of quality. So I think that shines through as well. And Final Fantasy 7 remake, as you saw as well, it is looking really dark at the moment. Even though we are in Midgard and it's meant to be dark and grimy and stuff, it is pretty dark. So it'd be nice to see that in the next in part 2 in 2023 or whatever. Go out into the world and get a bit more colorful. And I think then it'll really shine. It looks nice now. I think it looks stunning now. But it's definitely a choice art style that's working well technically for this generation, I feel.
And I haven't seen much of Borderlands 3, but I remember that trailer looked pretty nice with that art style.
When we get some impressions from Robert.
Yo, it's
he said
fucking
it's awesome.
Amazing. I'm no joke, honestly, like it may be my favorite game of this year. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I mean, I've been absolutely loving it. You know how I'm not I don't love a lot of side content personally, because I kind of feel like a lot of it feels more so like a chore depending on how it is. But dude, I love doing the side quests in Borderlands 3, just as much as the main quest. It's so fucking good. And just having so much fun just jumping around and mowing down these people and or these robot looking things and shit. And the characters are hilarious. The dialogue is funny and just really good, yo. I really recommend it. I recommended it a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with what the Borderlands gameplay even is.
I've only played Borderlands 1 for a little bit, so it's not like I've played 1 and 2 that much.
It's RPG FPS.
But yeah, it's. I know apparently people are like, man, I kind of wish it was like a games as a service like Destiny. I'm like, fuck out of here, no way, no way. I'm glad it's a genuine, campaign. You got story missions, you got side missions. I'd rather have that than a fucking games as a service. I don't want that. And it's great because you could play this single player, you could play this with people online, no matter like whatever you want. And again, each mission is very different and very humorous. A lot of humor in it is pretty damn funny. Like there's this one that I was playing where this one girl wants coffee, and so you go to like this one area where you open up a coffee shop, and this robot is talking like a generic like Starbucks employee. It's just pretty funny, and I quite love it.
You're talking about Dennis Diag. What about that fucking piece of garbage? That's with
he doesn't have anything to do with, or is he like the head guy?
Yeah, he is. Randy Pitchford. Randy.
Oh,
Bitchford.
him.
Randy Bitchford is what I like to call him.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck them to
Oh
hell.
man,
Man,
he was pissed when they were first revealing Borderlands 3, and the feed got messed up. Did you see that?
That guy's a dick.
They messed up the feed. You know, it was stuttering and stuff. And my God, he on stage pretty much just chewed out.
He's a good,
Where was it to? Was it
good street
Gamescom or
asshole.
somewhere? I think it was
That's what he
Gamescom. I can't remember what it was, but he literally chewed them out on stage, saying, "We'll bring our own equipment next time."
needs. A good street beatdown.
And you know, what's fun is that honestly, like right now, Juice, you may be looking that, and I didn't know this because I didn't play that much of Borderlands 1, obviously, but like I thought it was all set in a desert-looking area. That's what I
No.
thought. But dude, it's not. There's like this Neo Blade Runner looking city. There's
It's pretty varied as far as
I love it, and there's one that looks like some type of different country with temples and shit. It's super fucking.
This must be
varied.
some multiplayer game mode or something.
Yeah,
actual world.
Borderlands 1, Rob, was pretty remote in terms of its setting. It was very cowboyish in its setting, very Mad Max in its setting. So it was more like what you're seeing on the footage now.
Yeah.
Then they opened up a lot more diverse environments with Borderlands 2. But yeah, for the third game, they've really gone much more different environments. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Because
I love the very gameplay. I like the fact that it wasn't just your typical shooter. That like it you know, you got all the customization and you have the
you have the leveling up stuff. Like you have my character, you have a pet with him, like the guy that you just saw earlier, this little pet, and you can like pet the pet. It is fun.
I wonder if you can turn off this little indicator showing you exactly where to shoot to put out these fires.
Those are quest markers. So those are the quest markers of the game. So I'm guessing that you can't get rid of them. Right. You might be able to. I don't know. But you will in some ways you probably will want the quest markers on because some of the levels can be a bit of a labyrinth sometimes depending on where you go. So it's not really a linear game.
Each section is pretty you know, they got expansive. You can kind of explore, and there's like different places. Like there's bosses in some areas. There's 3 different little stations where you'll collect some loot and stuff. And there's again very varied in terms of locations. I'm loving it. Like I'm just like I'm hooked, dude. And I'm like, shit.
You never played Borderlands before, huh?
Only a little bit of one, like just a little bit, but it was during that time where well, basically you could say like 5 months ago when I was pretty bad at trying to figure out, you know how you play a game and then you're like, shit, I got a million others, which do I play? It was kind of like that, where I played a little bit of Borderlands, and it was right after, it was right after Tales from the Borderlands, because I played that and I love that game because from Telltale, and it's cool because characters in that game is also in Borderlands 3, which was awesome to see guys like Reese and Vaughn back. I'm like, oh shit. And it's funny because Vaughn is like this nerdy guy that is like, yo, who the fuck's this guy? And then he's actually like super fucking jacked. it's always like I love the characters. They're hilarious.
I think they brought in the cast from 1 and 2 as well. I've seen like Lilith and Zero and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they changed all kinds.
I kind of had to skim through it.
Because I know Zero from Tales from the Borderlands, so I didn't know he was in
Borderlands too. Yeah, he was a character in Borderlands too.
Okay.
He was my favorite. He was like a sniper class.
Yeah.
He was fucking awesome.
And everyone's very sarcastic and stuff. It's fun, you know. It's a lot of damn fun.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the next question here. TriLink just made a joke about anybody getting a second job to pay for all the Switch games. I don't think anybody actually. I don't know how serious that was.
Maybe he's not joking, yo.
So, Snipe Sound, ask what aspect of the Switch when it was first announced did you think Nintendo would highlight more? He thought the Joy-Cons. I would see Wii type things or games implement its feature, which actually happened with the Ring Fit. So I don't know. That was asked today though.
Yeah, but
I think that was kind of the standout thing when I first saw the Switch, was finding out how much tech was in the Joy-Cons. I remember talking about that quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember too. I think one of my first Switch videos. It might have been my first one where I just say the Joy-Cons just had so much potential. That's what wowed me the most. You know, we all jumped off the Wii U. We all knew the 2-screen stuff, which is great. We're already used to it. But the Joy-Con stuff is what really got me excited. And we've also said how it kind of hasn't lived up to that excitement.
Yeah, I don't. Other than that, the portable mode was kind of the big thing, which they they definitely push, and it's not a feature they can just say, yeah, we're not doing the portable mode. Like they can't just take that away like they did the HD Rumble and stuff in the Lite. So TriLink does ask a question, another one. What's your favorite remix track or song from Smash Brothers Ultimate? And it's like,
Gee, that's a lot. That's
That is a lot.
I haven't really, because I just play the game when we're playing and we're chatting and stuff. I haven't really spent much time just straight listening to the tracks separately.
I will say that Banjo Kazooie remix is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they got fucking trap in there and shit.
Yeah, it threw me off. I was like, all right, okay, Grant, you sneaky bastard. I fucks with it.
Yeah.
I think the one that's giving me the most goosebumps is probably the Gangplank Galleon.
Oh,
remix.
hells yeah.
That one was so funky.
Yeah.
When I first played that.
I did listen to like some of the Zelda stuff, and some of the remixes were very minimal. Like it sounded pretty much similar.
Well, I love the Ballad of the Goddess. They had like a rock tour like kind of theme for it instead.
But that kind of felt like Hyrule Warriors kind of had a rock version of Zelda. I will say the biggest disappointment though is the fact that the Wind Waker main theme isn't in there, or at least if it's an unlockable or something you have to get in the store or whatever, it's definitely not there by default. And I was like, that's
I don't remember it actually ever being in there. I know,
but like to me, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, no, that's a great
Zelda tracks, other than just the main theme, is when you boot up Wind Waker and it's going around the island and stuff like that.
Man, it's what Breath of the Wild needed, wasn't it? A bomb ass title screen.
Yeah, man. The title screen. Was it you that made that point? Like that was definitely a huge. That was a missing thing.
I remember Red made the point of it as well and stuff, and I remember when I first did my review, I said the game doesn't have diving. There's a little thing, and then it does have a bomb ass title screen like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been like a different area each time you boot the game up, like a random area where Link's just standing there looking at the scenery, something.
I wonder if we'll get one now with a sequel.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I think that was kind of the whole point of Breath of the Wild, though, is like very, it's very quiet in terms of.
Yeah, but you could have just had him even just standing on the edge of just the intro.
Yeah, true.
There. No music. He could have just stood there, and you just could have heard the animals or the birds. Even
that would have still given chills,
All right, so the next question from Miguel is favorite Nintendo game of all time. That's easy question.
Is it?
No, I'm just kidding. Favorite Nintendo game of all time?
Oh my god.
That's not.
I mean, it's like a tie between 3 for me. So
Breath of the Wild, I mean, is definitely top tier, but it's like there's so many classic like when I was younger moments too that it's hard to.
I know.
For me, it's Galaxy 2, and Breath of the Wild. It's those 3.
I still remember the first time playing A Link to the Past, and the rain and him hearing Zelda.
It's so difficult. I could happily say Breath of the Wild is like the best game I've ever played. I could just say it. But when you start saying then what is your favorite Nintendo game ever, and then if you actually sat down and said what's your favorite game ever, and then go through all the lists, it just becomes I can't stand it. That's why I never do lists like it. I just can't stand it.
It becomes a giant list.
My computer just took a shit.
So many good games, but so many memories. I could say, Link's Awakening. I could say Mario Bros on the Game Boy. I could say Mario 64. I could say Mario Bros 3, Super Mario World, Link to the Past, Metroid Prime. The list just goes on and on.
I think I have 2, and they're both kind of, one of them super modern, and the other one's kind of modern.
Can I predict one? I think you're gonna say Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, that's one of them. That is actually, to me, that has become a game that I can easily say has been like my favorite game this generation. Like I absolutely adore that title. The second one is obviously a Pokemon title. I couldn't not do it. It's just a DS game. It's Pokemon Black and White. I can't. That's a game I can replay infinitely and not get tired of in any way.
Yeah, to me, like Super Mario World it just doesn't seem to age at all. Every time I play, it's just like, even though Mario Maker 2 has, the Super Mario World theme, it's still playing the actual game. Just the first fucking level, there's stuff you can't do in Mario Maker 2, like these like the background. It's a platform, but it's also like a background element. And in the original Super Mario World, you could have tilted ones, or they had tilted ones, and it's just like there's so many things missing from even Mario Maker 2. And then the first world music, like I'll never forget that. Then you open a door and it's like, like it always stood out to me.
Well, I was playing.
It was great.
Yeah, I played Link to the Past on Switch Up, with the SNES games and stuff. And when you mention stuff like that, it's like when you think back to your memories, and Link to the Past is just so fucking good. And it's just stupid stuff like when you go down the steps.
Mm-hmm.
You got all this stuff here. It's just so fucking good. And then,
being able to hear those instruments.
Think back to yeah, exactly. Think back to Ocarina of Time and stuff, and I had such an incredible time and experience. It's still my favorite boss fight. That end Ganon as a spectacle is still my favorite boss fight ever. I just fucking love it. When he's just like the after the towers collapsed and then like he bursts out to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
oh yeah.
All the lightning comes
you
down.
Super Saiyan and shit on you.
It's just so fucking good. It's just.
What about the first time you saw Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time, or
exactly.
went to the forest?
Music kicks in, and it's just Nintendo. It's just too much greatness. Just too much greatness in too many games. It's too many moments. You can have a game for any moment, and there's always going to be one game that will always make those goosebumps just a bit more. But then you just can't write off the others. It's just.
Yeah, if I had to pick though, I'd probably give it to Breath of the Wild.
If I had to pick now, I'd probably go with Breath of the Wild.
A Link of the Past has more, obviously, nostalgia for me.
It's perfect. It's absolutely fucking perfect.
It still holds up, but it's so hard today. Like I had forgotten. I got to a point and I was like, what do I need here? There's like a symbol on Death Mountain in the Dark World, and like, oh, I need that magic thing. Like, where the fuck do I find that? I looked up, it's just randomly in the Zora River. Like, you talk to one of the Zoras or something, or it's at a waterfall, I forget. It's like, what are the chances that you would have actually done that?
You get the flippers from the waterfall.
What?
You get the flippers from the waterfall, don't you?
Well, whatever. You needed this medallion. You needed this medallion to open up the Death Mountain dungeon in the Dark World. And it was just randomly placed in the Zora River somewhere. It was just like a random find. I forget what.
That's bad game design.
It's like I found it back then, but my playthrough on the Virtual Console on the Wii U, I was like, what the fuck do I got to do? Like, do I search every inch of this game or do I look it up? And I was like,
that's what we used to do. Search every inch, man. Right.
But it wasn't always fun though. Sometimes it was a bit of a chore, but then you talk to your friends and somebody else found it, just like Breath of the Wild. You did things differently. You could still kind of do stuff different in certain order.
I'm thinking I used to do that shit. Like whenever you play like a point and click, like Broken Sword, or Discworld, or something like that, and you were stuck, with the puzzles, you'd end up like trying every single item on every single piece of interactive background that you could possibly do.
Goddamn Mist.
My God, yeah, Mist. You do it. Drag on every single item, put it on every single tree, every single lamppost, just whatever you could find. And, eventually you get something. It's just so difficult.
You needed the what was it? The ether I'm looking it up right now, trying to open that dungeon. And I was like, I didn't even remember it had those. There's 3 of them, I believe. Different element, different spell attacks. And I'm like, it was just like, maybe somebody you talked to gave you a hint or something, but on that particular playthrough, I was just kind of breezing through thinking, I've beaten this game multiple times. And then just like, shit.
But that's cool though, man, to go back and get stuck again,
Oh, yeah. My first playthrough, I got stuck in the Dark World, Lost Woods or whatever, where you had that like, the skeleton of like a beast on the.
Oh yeah.
And you just had to like hit it with the fire rod, and like I didn't try that. I played everything I could do, every dungeon I could do, and I'm like, I cannot figure this out. So I went to it, and I just fucking tried every item, and it worked. Like, that's just that was the one thing. But I mean, I went months without figuring it out, and I did everything else I possibly could, explored every option, like whatever dungeons I was allowed, and I was like, I just got this one left. And like months later, I was like, oh, let me just go back to it and try it. And then I just finally figured it out. So, yeah, with that being said, we saw that, I don't know where I could find that video that somebody put together, like a Link to the Past remake inspired by Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
I put it in the Discord. So that I should be able to find that. And because my attachment to Link to the Past is so much stronger, I definitely got like more feels from that, even though I don't know if the person created an actual playable, or is this just completely fake, like they just made like a CGI or something, or if they were actually playing.
I reckon it's playable.
And I'm just like, yeah, I would take that. It would feel a little redundant now coming after Link's Awakening, but I got it playing right now for people who haven't seen it.
It's one of those better fan-made ones we've seen.
Yeah, other than the voice acting in the beginning, and a few of the design choices, I wouldn't change really anything about what this person did. The front
door is swinging open a little from the wind.
Oh yeah, just the lightning coming through.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I would take this, but I don't have that attachment to Link's Awakening, so that game looks gorgeous. I don't have that same level of nostalgia for it. If this would have been the game Nintendo showed, I would have been more excited.
There's one thing I like that he does on this later on when he falls down the hole just outside the castle, is how long he's falling for and how terrifying it looks.
Did you see the Link's Awakening, how if you accidentally press A by a rock, you don't have to read that text, like goes by in 1 second?
I saw that in
the original game. You had to sit there for what felt like 10 seconds and read it every single time you accidentally hit A by a rock you couldn't lift. And it's like, those are the types of things, the quality of life you should be doing. Plus, it just looks fucking phenomenal.
Those dead eyes.
Yeah, it's the only thing it looks a bit off on this character model.
Yeah, the character model is the only thing.
When he looks up at you and smiles with those eyes, it's a little freaky.
He's a little tall, I think. It doesn't look right, but the world looks fucking.
He hasn't got pink hair either, which is come on, what's going on there?
This environment looks like spot on. It's
just because the Game Boy didn't have a good color palette.
Did anybody play T or Clock? Did you play Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, I played that. They added like additional sound effects with the Game Boy Advance games. Like with Yoshi, like Yoshi's Island on the Game Boy Advance. They added in his when he films, which was on Yoshi's Story first of all.
Yoshi's Story stuff, yeah.
So I didn't like that.
I didn't buy. I only bought Super Mario Bros. 3. Was the only Game Boy Advance port I bought. And they just went crazy with fucking ports on that.
Yeah, reminds me of something else.
It's like every other game. Yeah,
not my favorite Nintendo handheld.
No, it's.
Oh, I love the Advance.
They had some good.
The Advance was cool, and then the SP came out, and I was like, "Fuck, that's That's the system
But they
I
had
needed
some
in
good-
my life.
Yeah, I was like, when it came out with the original one, it still wasn't backlit. I was like, really? We still doing this?
That was trash.
Come on.
I got it day one, man. Day one. Me and
I
my
did
friend,
too, and it
Oh,
was
I had it. I had the what do you call it? The Indigo one, the
Yes.
Matchlight Indigo GameCube.
I feel like that's the iconic.
But God, it was so hard to see anything on the screen. It was stupid. I hated that. But I mean, I played games on it. But when I got the SP, I was like, yeah, I got some good exclusives. But man, it was just littered with.
It was a ton of remasters,
Every Mario game,
re-releases and shit.
Even the Mario Kart game it basically had the original game as a unlockable, and then the new game.
And they started putting 30-minute cartoons on the shit.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Where
the video now.
My Fairly Odd Parents and all kinds of
That
shit.
shit had me dying, son. I bought that stupid. What is it? Is it the video now where like you can put the mini disc in there and
Yeah,
that shit was a weird.
terrified.
you can get them on eBay right now, 30 for $10.
Man, get the fuck out of here. I think I still have mine. It's like
trying to give that shit away now.
It's like broken in a box somewhere, man.
All right, so we're out of questions, and we got a few minutes, so we could actually do final thoughts if people have something they want to get off the chest or anything. We've been
are we giving out confessions?
Running out of time the last few weeks. So
final thoughts down.
you know, it's so sad. That song's so classic, you know, but now every time every time I hear it, I think of fucking Pitch Perfect, because they had there was a fucking at the end, like a montage for like the intro to the finals, and it's just people going, you know, with their voices doing the intro music part, and it just fucking, it always made me laugh, and now that's all I can think about.
Freaking hilarious.
That movie's actually really funny. The sequel
It's really funny.
Sequels sucked, but the original
people get on movies like that and Bring It On. Those movies are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But are they hilarious for the right reasons?
That one is definitely it's pretty raunchy too. I was not expecting that type of humor when I first watched it. I thought, oh, that's
raunchier than Grandma's Boy?
I'd say. Except
it is probably, yeah.
Grandma's Boy had the one
it had
joke
that one sequence where it's just like, come on.
where he's just like,
like, this is crazy.
With what's his face? He's suckling.
Yeah, he was suckling.
What in the world?
He was suckling the teeth for like, what did he say, 20 hours or something?
It's like the kid from Game of Thrones, Robin. His mom, he was like 8 years old, and he's still feeding. And that shit was gross. Anyway.
Have you guys ever seen? You probably might not have caught like a sitcom show called Little Britain. Did you ever see that over in the US?
No.
Oh, that was
the only thing we got over here was
The
like
Office.
Benny Hill and shit.
No, man.
Hell yeah.
It's hard to find the BBC channel.
You know what my favorite British show was? Nanny
Benny
911.
What was it?
Nanny 911.
Nanny 911. I haven't even heard of that. Was that?
I liked Sherlock Holmes the first 2 seasons, and then the 3rd season got so full of itself that.
Was that with Benedict Cumberbatch?
I can't even watch it. It's so tongue in cheek. Everything they say is almost like, "Hey guys, we know that you love this show, so we're just making sure that we're as funny as we can be every second." And it's just like
Too meta.
They're trying way too hard all of a sudden. But anyway, let's do final thoughts. I'm curious if what Robert's thoughts are on It Chapter 2. So.
Uh-huh.
Oh God.
I haven't heard one person talk about that movie yet. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, well, I personally loved the first It a lot.
Oh, this is not good.
And
you mean It 2017?
Yeah, It 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The It Chapter 1, and I gotta say, It Chapter 2 disappointed the hell out of me, to be honest.
Just
it
like
was
the
one of my
TV
most
series.
anticipated, and it was okay at best, and
like almost 3 hours or some shit.
yeah, it's like almost, and I don't mind because like Blade Runner is fucking great and shit, but it's like,
You don't have no 3-hour horror movie though. That don't make sense.
I watched a
Especially
review and
when this movie is even less of a horror than it is a comedy, and like the whole thing, what just sucks is that, to me at least, the kids in the first one had that chemistry, and they were actually like real life friends, you know. So you could tell the difference between that and these actors. Not they're fantastic actors, the lineup's great, but like they don't have that same chemistry that the kids had, and honestly,
well, they shouldn't, because they kind of grew apart, and that was part of the whole.
No, but it's
just how
odd.
it is.
It's odd because when they come back, they make it like they're like fucking best friends again, but they don't. They just don't have that same. And it doesn't help that like an hour of the movie is like reliving almost It One, where you're just like, hey, you guys remember It One?
Like,
you guys remember It One? It's like, yeah, it came out 2 years ago, yo. You know what I mean?
It's like, why are they retreading?
Yeah, and if like, you've seen the TV movie, you knew that the ending was just stupid in that one, and
I saw the
CGI. So.
When they grew up, it was just like whack. It was like, oh no.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so fucking disappointed with It Chapter 2. So that sucks. But
I'm actually my most anticipated movies of this year have all been disappointing that I've seen so far. So, but I didn't watch John Wick 3 yet. So.
Oh, that movie's great. I at least to me, I love that movie. The action is as crazy. But
anyway, let's get on. Robert, why don't you just give your final video game thoughts and
go play Borderlands. It's fucking great, yo. If you're interested at all, you know, I definitely think you'll like it. And next week I'm gonna probably have a new back of the backlog, so check that out. But yeah, so
what
have a good night.
What backlog game was it?
What
game was it?
Oh, Gears of War 1, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's gonna be a Gears of War 1.
I'm not excited about hearing your thoughts on the game, but I can't wait to watch the episode.
See, that's the problem, yo. It's gonna be tough to what I will say, it's gonna be hard to always top, you know, to always
keep that quality standard.
It's impossible. It's impossible to have every single episode be better than the last one.
Well, just have Kylo come back and.
Well, I already know what I'm gonna do, but I can't say. What I will say is I think October is gonna top what I just did.
Yeah.
But September, this is kind of leading up to October. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So my idea for October.
This is spoilers, man. I don't want to know this shit.
But September will be good. It's gonna be. It won't top last month, at least to me. I think we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it great. I don't know. It depends, but. Hopefully it still is funny. You know what I mean? If it's funny, I'm cool with it.
Looking forward to it either way. All right, Terrell, any thoughts? Final or otherwise?
Yeah. I have some thoughts that are final. Fuck Death Stranding. No, I'm just, I say I don't have my movie podcast thought process in here, so I'm just run off my gaming thoughts. I'm enjoying. I'm currently. I think my 3 main games are Fire Emblem, Master Chain, and Resident Evil 2. I know Juice is probably the most interested in the Resident Evil 2 stuff, so we'll go ahead and talk about that real quick. Just ran to Mr. X. That was not a pleasant experience. It pissed me off because I knew he was coming, and apparently I ran into him in a different spot than other people did. I got down to like the jail, and like you see him kill that guy.
Really? I saw him by a helicopter explosion.
That's literally where I found him. Like, oh, I got the water to put out the fire for the helicopter. Let me walk around and see what. Oh my God, he's coming right at me. Oh my God, I shot him and it didn't do anything. Fuck. So, that game stresses me out. I feel like I can't play that game at night because I get extremely paranoid as soon as I finish playing. Like people will tell you, like Saturday I played it, I was just like, fuck this. I gotta go lay down.
I'm listening to the back. I'm listening to the back of the backlog song right now. So
wow, this is some disrespectful shit. I'm sorry. I'm not like like 9 or 8 years younger and fucking not putting out these fucking epic ass videos.
Yo, I played.
Where'd you get the thong from, Robert?
45 making some backlog videos.
Who'd you borrow the thong from?
You'll be out here representing Juice's generation.
It'd be season 45, yo.
Robert, who'd you borrow the thong from for your intro there on Kylo
No
Ren?
no joke, I bought it, yo. Yeah, because okay, here's the funny story. So my mom was like, I mean, I have one that I never use. I'm like, I don't want to use your fucking thong, dude. I don't care if you never used it. I don't believe that. So I'm just gonna buy one for like $5, yo. So that's what I did.
You should ask some of your friends.
Wow. What?
You should ask one of your friends.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, so
cool in the
Miss
video.
Grande.
When you have a pile of games and shit, and you just drop them everywhere, that's cool. But it's a pain in the ass. You turn the camera off, and you got to pick all that shit up and put it back.
No. I had, dude. If you see that whole shit was just fucking flooded, and it was funny because like I'm like, how do I even stack this? So my sister helped me put it up in my hands, and then I went and I'm like, all right, just leave the room real quick. Then I had to, literally like maybe 5-10 at a time. I took them back to my room.
It sucks.
All right, sorry we took over Terrell's.
No, literally, you know what? I'm not as good as Robert. Fuck it.
Oh, this
See you
was
later.
Terrell?
See you next week. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Robert is the greatest human being on the podcast. Good night, everybody.
We're back at the final thoughts.
T, go ahead and see if you compete with Robert. Apparently. Because Robert is God in Juice's eyes, so have fun.
Damn, dude. Chill out.
My heart hurts. I have indigestion.
I'm just glad you're playing Resident Evil and got to Mr. X.
And I got all the medallions and all that other shit.
Did you
I just met Ada.
Nice.
And I fought the zombie dogs.
Ada's alright.
Really? Because as soon as I got to her, everyone was like, best girl in the series. That's literally what people did in the chat.
And that dress, boy.
That dress is nice, but I have a new appreciation for Claire, as you know.
Yeah, I know. So, I think you have too much of an appreciation for Claire, if anything, sir. Anyway. I think you want her to be wet all the time.
That's some fake ass. That wet. When the characters get wet, that's like the worst. It just looks so fake.
It's like Barbie doll wet.
It looks like a Barbie doll is like covered in fucking clear coat of high gloss clear coat or something. It just looks so weird.
But listen, she's shiny.
Yeah, it's not like droplets of water. It's just straight like I said, it's weird looking.
Just get the. All right, fine, just fine. Move on.
All right, Ms. T.
All right, well, as far as movies go, pretty disappointed this year. Endgame was pretty good. I'm looking forward to Joker. Yeah. I also have not seen John Wick 3 yet. Shame on me. And that's it's sad as a Star Wars fan to have no excitement for. I have zero excitement for it. It's not. I'm not actively trying to. I'm looking for something. Give me something, and it's just I have no.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Last Jedi killed it for me. It just killed it for a lot.
Has it just been me, or maybe I'm just
fans are in the same boat as me. We have therapy sessions on YouTube. There's YouTube channels that we have our therapy sessions on, talking about how much we hate Ryan Johnson and stuff like that. So
it's the summer movie. Just the summer movie season just felt.
And the summer movie season just
everything lame. Like everything Godzilla to. I know Spider-Man did well, but it kind of was.
Spider-Man did well, but
like died instantly.
Expected that.
And then you had Hobbs and Shaw. I don't even think that did anything.
It did okay.
Well, I mean, it still made I think it was some big number though.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you another.
China, but the China receipts ain't the same because they only get 25% of that money.
Yeah, a lot of times they just.
China gets 75% of that cut,
and they fake that shit too. They can fake that. They got some shady practices over there, but I can't name another movie that was supposed to be this big summer movie.
Yeah,
game wise, my game log is ridiculous, and it's getting worse and worse every week.
We were talking about buying Soul Calibur 6, and I'm like, nah. I thought about we no time.
I'm glad that Nino Kuni came out and it was a bad port. I'm just glad.
Oh, was it a bad port?
Yeah, it's buggy as hell.
Wait, really?
I haven't
You
seen
for
that.
real?
It comes out Friday though.
Yeah, stay away till they patch it at least.
Damn
well,
it.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna
Not
wait
good.
on it anyway. But I'm gonna
The
wait on it.
audio's all jacked up. It's a mess.
Oh,
Let's
for
get the
real?
PS.
Wow.
Get your
Three
shit
more.
together.
Is
God
it on
damn
PS4?
it. The what?
Is it on PS4?
Yeah.
No, they're getting the
there's a
remaster.
There's a remaster
Yeah, it's
version.
coming for everything, right?
It's coming for everything, but we're getting like the base version, whereas everyone else getting the remaster.
They couldn't even get that shit right. So
which was fucking stupid.
So yeah, so stay away, people who are looking forward to that game, at least for now. But yeah, it was too many games, man. Too many games. I can't keep up, and I guess that's cool. So
I can't keep up, so I guess that's cool.
You'll have time early next year.
I'll have something to do early next year. I'll have some games. So
Yeah.
playing.
All
And
right.
that's it from T.
Yeah, I'm just in a weird funk because I'm still having my back issue. So sitting I can't. I have very after an hour, it's like, all right, this is getting uncomfortable.
I've had enough of it.
So I gotta decide what do I want to make a video? No, I can't do a live stream because then I'm not playing something. So I'm actually fully dedicated into Rocket League again. So I've been ranking up. So any chance I get, I'm playing it, getting better. I hit a new peak, Diamond 2 Division 4 and ranked, about to hit Diamond 3, and I never thought I'd be this high. So that's been my main game still the last couple months. And then Astral Chain, I'm waiting until I finish it 100, beat the game, and then I'm probably gonna start replaying it, and before I pick up Link's Awakening. So could be a couple weeks from now, but I got some time between Link's Awakening and Luigi's Mansion, so I ain't sweating it. I don't think Link's Awakening's not the longest game, so I think I got some time. But even just real quick about movies, I haven't had the urge just to sit down and watch a movie in a long time. I haven't bought any movies in a while, and I still haven't seen Shazam, haven't seen Detective Pikachu, didn't see John Wick 3. I'm just like, man, this isn't like me. But
nobody saw Shazam, so don't worry about that one.
Hey man, Shazam was a good film.
I want to
No
see it.
way.
I thought it was okay.
It was alright.
Come
It was
on,
alright.
yo. Get the fuck out of here.
For me personally.
But the funny thing is,
I'm a DC fan bitch, and that movie was alright.
Wow, I'm disappointed.
yeah, I don't expect to love it, but it's easier just to watch an episode of something, and then I don't have to be sitting for so long. So I've actually started on Netflix. It was on Sci-Fi Channel, Dark Matter. It's a 3-season long. It's a pretty decent show, sci-fi show. And I'm like 6-7 episodes in. I'm like, shit, I could watch a couple movies that have been.
I was gonna say, you said Dark. I was thinking Dark Mirror. I was like, what are you talking about? Dark Mirror is 5 seasons.
Yeah, I was gonna check that out too, but
that's a really good show. You're gonna get stuck.
So yeah, it's just kind of weird for me. I barely played Mario Maker since this whole issue with my back. I made one level, which wasn't anything super impressive. It was just a boss battle. And then just play a little bit of the Star Fox and a few of the Super NES games and Astral Chain. And I really don't need any more really on my plate right now. So that's why I definitely want to finish Astral Chain before getting anything else.
Stop.
And really the end of the year, there isn't really much for me when November to December. So I other than Doom and all that. So I'll be picking up some games later in the next 2 to 3 months. And so that'll keep me busy. Last year, I waited till the last month of the year, and all of a sudden, I got an Xbox, and I played a couple games I wasn't expecting, and helped fill out my top 5 list. So right now, I don't even know how many games I played from this year. I think maybe 5. So anyway, good podcast. Another reminiscing about old games, old systems, and people seem to be enjoying the trivia. I forgot about it till late today. I wish I would have put it up yesterday or this morning, got more participation, but I'll try to keep those coming. I think it's people enjoy that kind of stuff. So And then submit more questions because we got through them today. So if you're on the Discord, appreciate the people that actually participate, because we had quite a few people join that never contributed once to any conversations or anything. And then you got others that are pretty active. So I don't really promote it that much anymore, just because it's like, if you're not going to be active, then what, might as well not even join. Type of thing,
Jesus.
Because I mean, if you just follow me on Twitter or something, if you don't really want to be involved in a conversation, the whole reason is to be here and talk with other gamers. So if you're not gonna, like a lot of these guys, I don't think I've ever
just like to join stuff, man. They don't like to participate once it's.
That's what I'm saying.
I just like to be a part of a lot of different shit that I don't really interact with.
But I might close out a couple, like the Mario Maker 2 tabs, probably kind of pointless at this point. I'll probably clean it up a little bit. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Another good podcast.
Shit, man. No final thoughts.
Clocked it. Final thoughts, clocked it.
I was going to say, I didn't want to say, I thought maybe Clock just wanted to get out of here.
I was going to save them for last, and then I kind of rambled on and I forgot. So
I don't even want to say anything now. It's too late, Juice.
Look at this man. I was going to say,
this podcast, man, it's whack. Let's get out of here.
Oh, shit.
You gotta.
Your whack ass final thoughts anyway.
I'm fine. Let's go. It's cool.
You don't have nothing?
No, it's cool. Go on. Let's go.
You sure? You don't want to talk about David X Machina?
It's like you're rubbing the salt in. Just move the fuck on.
It's cool.
I forgot you, bro. It's all good.
You want to say good night to everybody at least?
What the hell?
You want to say goodbye? You want to close this out?
Oh shit!
Well, yeah. My name's Clocked It. I'm on this show sometimes. I have a channel. I don't do any videos.
Oh shit!
Someone love me.
All right, with that, we're gonna call it a night. So see you guys next week.